Sonic News. A new show appears. It's super effective.
Oh my god, I'm so hungry.
SSF. Alright. Pull my finger, please.
Let me tell you how to not make falafel.
No? Screw you. I was polite.
Oh, I gotta make chicken.
Ah. Live from magnificent
You talked all that time about making chicken and you never made the chicken. Wow.
The news dude of Sonic Paradox.
Oh, fuck it.
Sega fan. 1991.
And then we finally finished the intro. Hello everyone on Sonic Paradox and those who might be watching on the Sonic Show or anywhere else that's I do not know or not aware of. This is the Sonic News Show for the, well, this is the first time in July there's a show. So, yeah, it's July. I hear there's a convention later this month. But,
Yeah, it's on the 4th. Lots of fireworks.
yay!
Boo!
But yes,
All of Britain boycotts the convention.
yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, those who are actually watching, yes, we do have a full house here, actually. We have Sonic Retro here.
All of Sonic Retro.
Yes.
Yeah, we crammed
Well, most
all
of us.
1,000 of us into just like one chat room. That'd be cool.
Oh, that's perfectly alright. I have no problem with there being a bunch of people. As many people that can show up as, you know, you guys are aware of and able to, by all means. You know.
Alright, let me just tell little Karibo really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's off selling shirts at somewhere, God knows what.
He's off selling his body somewhere. Wait.
Oh. Well then.
Yes, I guess there should be some introductions in order as to who exactly is here at the moment. Who should I let one of you guys go first, or do you guys just decide who goes first?
You should go with our fearless leader first.
Yes.
Yeah, fearless leader / glorious leader / I'm secretly all of North Korea, Scarred Son.
Don't you see the Sonic Retro Burger King crown on her head?
Oh yeah.
So I get
Benevolent
it.
dictator for life.
Now I understand why your Skype never works. Because you don't have electricity.
I'm a moderator on Retro. My name is Hero Chow.
Okay.
I'm into Sonic, just add chips.
That's not your name.
Chip.
I do things.
My name is David the Lurker. I am also an administrator at Sonic Retro. I'm like number 2 or 3 or 2. I do stop. What?
Scar's Picard, you're number 1.
I'm number 1. Oh man, that means I have a beard and she doesn't.
That's generally the point,
That's
David.
yeah.
Yeah, but then who's Q?
You.
Oh.
I am Overlord, and I am also a moderator on Retro.
I am Kinosu. I'm also an administrator on Retro.
And rounding out the reverse order of the alphabet and whatever order we have is Bartman310, front page writer. Perhaps you heard of my game, Anime Rally. Try it now.
Always.
Why do I think that when you die, that's gonna be on your tombstone?
Because you're gonna like your work as many opportunities as possible.
My tombstone comes with a free playable demo. It's multiplayer.
I'll tell you what's on my tombstone. Pepperoni.
Is it multiplayer?
No, it's a glass of water.
Nah.
Mine's better.
So yeah, is that everyone?
Yep,
Yeah,
I believe so.
Okay. I I apologize
Running
if you guys can hear my dishwasher, by
Oh.
the way.
Just adding water.
Yes. But
Sounds good.
yes, it's great to have you all here. It's I do believe one of the sites I have looked on probably as long as just about all the other sites. I mean, I've seen Sonic Rex, I've seen Sonic Stadium, but I think the only other site are you guys. I mean, Sonic Retro and is the number one place I go to for things like information on Sonic and news about ROMs and one thing people that have seen me stream in the past know is that I tend to play a lot of Sonic ROM hacks. I'm not gonna forget that time I had to stream Sonic 1 Mocho Edition for like 5 hours.
Oh yes, I saw that. It was brilliant.
Oh, it was you who did that.
Yep,
That
it
is
was me that
brilliant.
made that abomination.
Right,
He
you
lives
say-
off the tears of people.
Oh no
who
no no!
read-
I mean, he was the one who played the abomination.
Oh yes, he played it, and I loved every tear that came from it. It was delicious.
Amazing.
Then you're gonna really love the stream that I had done and put up on YouTube. Yes, I was dared to actually play that for 5 hours straight. Although I do believe it only went for like 2-3 hours because
Yeah, it did. I watched all 2-3 hours of it. I really do commend you for putting up with it for that long.
oh god, that was I can't believe. I think I turned into an insane piece of crap after that.
Well, that was the general idea behind it in the first place. I mean, there are ways of getting through it where it won't do that, and I mean the signs actually do mean things, and people do tend to forget about it. But it's so much more fun seeing people get so extra frustrated with it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I can actually understand that because I've seen people myself try to play the game, and I cannot even begin to explain how much I was laughing hard at that. Now that I've actually played it myself for a good while, I don't know if I'm going to be laughing quite as hard, but
Understandable.
Did you
Yeah.
get to the end?
It's a torture device, basically.
yeah, a very, very funny torture device, I'll admit.
Well,
I-
there's a game out there that I suggest to you and everybody else who's listening. If you can find it anywhere, try to grab Super Sawman.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, Super Sawman.
Featuring Eggman. It is Sonic related,
Yes.
but he goes by the alias Super Sawman in the
He
game.
must defeat the evil clan of the Death Egg.
Don't let the way it looks fool you. It's quite a brilliant game.
But yeah, I really do appreciate all the work you guys do with Sonic ROM hacks and the wiki. I know is a lot of hard work, and I do commend all you guys for that. It's like I said, I do play a lot of Sonic ROM hacks, and the number one place
Well-
I go to is Sonic Retro to find them.
Well, let's just say right now that it isn't just because of us six who are in this chat right now. It's
Countless others.
more of a community effort, and we're
Yeah.
very proud of our community.
I appreciate these good
Well, most of the time.
Work and we do nothing.
Yeah, I appreciate these good comments you're giving me, even though I never hacked a ROM in my life.
See, because all of the ROMs, they just slip through my fingers. I don't understand them. But
You know,
One thing I would definitely recommend if you want some quick, nice ROM hacks, go into the forum, go into the engineering and reverse engineering. There is a thread specifically for one-off ROM hacks that people have done quickly, and some of the ideas that come from that are really, really nice little things.
Oh, you'll have to
So-
link me to that.
Let me try and find the link. But no, I mean, it's just simple ideas like some people have thrown together small little bosses, a few little level ideas, and it's nothing like a major ROM hack that people seem to do. You know, people say they've got this really big idea. It's not for big ideas, it's just for the small ones, and some of the ideas that come out of it are really quite little, cool little things.
Yeah.
Sometimes the neatest things that people come up with can be like the goofiest little things. Like right now, there's an ongoing topic of people just trying to fix various bugs that they found in Sonic 2, and some of it's stuff that I would have never even have thought of. But now it's like 6 pages full of all these cool little fixes and tweaks that have come up with. It's a really neat project.
Yeah.
think
Oh,
of no.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to do in the chat, David.
Don't. You know, you could just deal with me being an idiot. You don't have to.
No, it's all right. Live streams it's a little bit more complicated when it comes to doing nicknames. I think there's actually a I think if you log out and then try to type in a message, it'll bring up like a little area for a nickname. I think. Maybe try that.
I think it's time to start drinking. That's what it is.
It's always time to be drinking. You say this like we haven't already been drinking.
Right. Okay. What do I have in my hand? I have a bottle. It's
Bacardi?
beer. No, it's just beer.
Bleach?
It's Blue Moon Belgian White Belgian style wheat ale.
It's a wheat
Good
beer.
middle shelf beer.
Yeah.
Beer.
Well, I bought it for someone else, but you know what? I don't care.
And just to let you guys know, to some of you who are listening, we don't promote drinking. If you're underage, do not do that. Do not blame Sonic Retro for any drinking that occurs here.
This is
Right,
true.
that's no good.
If you're going to drink, move to a country where you're old enough to drink, and it has to be Mexico, where it's 13, then that's what you need to do. we always promote that you stay above the law.
Yes.
Please put blame on something else.
Yeah, like
Canada.
Canada.
Oh, there you go.
I'm of legal age across the board, so.
I find that coincidental.
Oh, it's Timid.
Why is that?
I find that coincidental considering today is Canada Day, so.
Oh!
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hey!
I mean, we're big fans of drinking. The fact that we're getting drink tickets at Sonic Boom is a huge plus. I actually spent some time talking with Sega last year about like how can we keep getting drinks without like having an open bar. So I'm glad that the drink ticket thing was actually chosen. And I will be gladly, if you are under 21 and you're like, you know what, I don't drink or whatever. My goal this year is to like pool as many drink tickets as possible to see if we can buy like a group discount, like if we can just buy a bunch of pitchers of beer and therefore get more liquor out of the situation. So if you're interested, contact me on the forums because I'm definitely going to set up some sort of like.
Oh, there goes Courtney.
Uh-oh.
Come back,
What
Courtney.
do you mean there goes
Fed's
Courtney?
got her.
Ah!
You wandered away.
Am I back?
Can
Your
hear you.
connection
Am I back?
is just-
Yeah, you're back.
I
Okay,
want
there
as
you go.
much.
Okay.
You know,
alcohol
actually,
as Sega will give me.
just a quick idea would be probably to put the Skype window on the stream so they could see who's talking when it lights up.
I can try that. I didn't know.
Would that show the names of people's usernames though? Because I know that was kind of an issue with a couple of people in our chat.
No, actually, it won't. It just says names for me. Like, I don't know. Does anybody have their username here displayed? Like, plain
Well, I think
old-
it's one of the things if
Well,
you haven't
I'm
actually
just
added the
concerned.
person, then it does that. I remember.
It might show my real name, but
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was
that's,
just a suggestion.
yeah,
Just
that,
need to memorize everyone's voice right now.
yeah, that's generally why I don't usually try not to have Skype up. Although for some reason, and Skype still finds a way to get onto the stream. And I'm such a freaking professional. But
Yeah, God, what's your problem? No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
No, it's all right.
hey guys, I'm Skype. Come get me on the stream.
Yeah.
To continue the Sonic Boom theme, though, we are also hosting a Sonic Retro specific party from 3 to 5 at the Bennigan's, which is at the intersection of 805 and 8. Why are you laughing? It's a nice place. It's an Irish pub. They'll have happy hour. It's really a place we enjoy. And then on Saturday, at that exact same location, actually, it's just a little further down the road, we'll be doing stuff at Dave & Buster's from 6 until whenever we don't feel like being at Dave & Buster's anymore.
And
we'll
everybody
probably
has
have
to
our
come in
own
banana
games.
hammocks.
Of course, including those of us who don't have bananas. We'll just, carry around But yeah, and it should be fun, and definitely open to anyone who wants to show up. We'd be happy to have you. So.
Yeah, that'd
Yep.
be great.
So
There's-
so I guess we should do something that we really haven't yet to do yet. Should we go ahead and start doing the show?
Sure.
Yeah,
What do you want us to talk
that would
about?
probably be a good idea.
What have we been doing so far?
We're just talking about stuff. I don't know, but yeah,
The breeze.
Sonic and Knuckles Sonic.
yeah, that.
I just got done
God.
making some falafel. Let me tell you how not to make falafel.
Well,
Trick question. You don't make falafel. I just spent
okay.
maybe
So,
half
I
an hour
guess,
trying
what
to
is-
form some.
What is your first topic of discussion then?
well, the first topic isn't really that. It's not really that obscure, considering coincidentally we were talking a little bit about the topic at hand just before the show started in the call. But yeah, Sega, it's kind of in a screwed up situation right now. With all the divisions closing.
In
Sega's-
France and whatnot.
Yeah, the community branch,
France,
or rather,
Spain,
They're
Benelux,
focusing on
Australia.
Sonic the Hedgehog. What's to worry about, guys?
Yeah, except that they're focusing more on things like Sonic 4 rather than things like Sonic Generations.
yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
You know, there's
And I
a
mean,
sign
I
of
can
concern.
understand-
There's a sign of
Go
concern
ahead.
when their next level or their next major Sonic title is a Mario Kart clone from a British developer. Not really sliding Sumo Digital, but the fact again, like that's really a pretty bad. It's still not exactly the highest point that Sega could be pushing for at this moment, especially for Sonic and whatnot. But in a
I
way,
mean, you've got to appreciate that at least they're not rushing something out, because we all know what happens when they rush out a 3D title. You get Sonic 06
Yeah, it's
again.
called
So I would
Right,
rather they
right.
take their time with the next game, but at the same time,
Mhm.
the current situation, I mean, especially for somebody who obviously has always dealt with Sega in Europe, the fact that Sega Europe now has basically been whittled down to one branch, it
Yeah,
is
so-
somewhat devastating.
it's cool. They're in pre-alpha right now, and they're shooting for a Christmas release. It's all good.
yeah.
I don't
I will
know.
pro-
I would just have to agree with what Segabits wrote in their editorial this morning because it was spot on. You know, they've whittled down all their new IPs. They, well, we're not going to continue working with anyone. We're just going to continue making Total War and Football Manager and Sonic and hope that works out. And the shame is that over the past 5 years, they've made some great new IPs. Bayonetta, Binary Domain, even just some of the weirder little shooter games they've had, both first and third person, have been kind of enjoyable. Like, I just recently got a chance to play The Club, which is kind of an older title, I think it's like 2007 or so, but it's still really fun. But the thing is, like, I'm one of the few people who should probably know about a game like The Club. I had no clue. Like, the marketing and promotion has just been, like, absolutely poop.
I've never
Yeah,
even
no,
heard.
I would agree with that. I only recently picked up both Bayonetta and I think the other one was Binary Domain, and they were basically both in clearance at game because obviously when they went bust. But it's not something really I'd looked into. But they are both decent games. But it's kind of too late by the time you reach bargain bucket prices.
I don't know. I tend to disagree with that because I really think that that the focus of the club was kind of off. Like making it like multiplayer only, and it had like weird like camera things going on, and it kind of made me motion sick, honestly. At the same time, but the multiplayer centric
unique
part of
style,
it just
I'll say
it never clicked with. I'm sorry.
I said it's definitely a unique departure from conventional style, so I can understand why it could be a little off-putting.
It is, but when you don't have like when you make a multiplayer server and multiplayer game and you don't have any like anybody playing on your servers, it kind of kills the game very quickly, and they should have thought about that in the development process.
I think it was kind of strange. I mean, a lot of the games that you guys just noted or mentioned, rather, aren't really games that Sega is developing. Rather, a lot of these are developed from like Platinum Games or like the more recent game that they're coming out with, obviously, is going to be Aliens, which isn't, or Aliens Colonial Marines, which isn't really, part of this.
Well,
not-
right,
not-
because
not quite part
Sega
of this
is also
issue.
a publisher, though. So,
Right.
Right.
but
And
still, I mean, that's the
honestly-
Sega name. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
To be frank, a lot of the titles they've been actually developing haven't hit Western markets. I mean, if you look at oh god, I'm drawing a blank. Valkyrie,
as the chat's
Valkyrie Chronicles never got
Chronicles,
moved
yeah.
over. PSO2 doesn't look like it's going to necessarily make it. Anarchy Reigns, even though that's a platinum game, is sort of dubious as to whether it'll show up. So
well,
I would love to promote more in-house titles, but hey.
according to Sega's Twitter, at least Anarchy Reigns will see a 2013 release in the U.S. As
Yeah, at
for
the moment.
And that's
yeah, at the
ridiculous.
moment.
That's fucking ridiculous.
And PSO2 is in the cards,
Well,
and
when-
Valkyrie Chronicles 3 is not making it to the States because the first two have just tanked something fierce. So yeah, it's a really hard sell that what Sega's been doing, and as people have been saying, we haven't really seen hide nor hair of advertising on anything. But it sounds like Sega, what they've been trying to do is trying to make their major push like online and through their websites and things like that. Like they have Facebook and Twitter stuff, and of course the Sega blog is a thing. But
Yeah, it sure certainly is a thing right now.
yeah, but I don't know what else their outreach is. Of course, there's the NASCAR driver for All Stars Racing Transform. They're breaking
Well,
new
see,
ground.
the problem is like Sega. I don't know. Back in the '90s, they had their face everywhere. Like you couldn't look away without seeing something with the Sega logo. Now, if you think about just advertising campaigns in general, I mean, the only thing I can think of that isn't like a Sonic the Hedgehog commercial. What didn't I can't even remember what sporting event it was, but didn't Bayonetta have there was one sporting event and the commentators talked about Bayonetta every chance they got, but that was like the only time Sega did any sort of advertising outside of their own website or making GameSpot write something. There really isn't anything you're not going to be flipping through a magazine and just see an ad for Sega, or watching just regular television and see something for Sega. It's very, very specific locations, and it's like advertising for Sega almost becomes like, oh, it's supposed to be a surprise event, and that's okay for the Sega faithful, but that doesn't allow a company to survive. It'd be different if Sega was just like this little niche indie publisher company where they could do oh, look at this thing, we're so cool, because they have $20, but that's not how Sega was designed. It can't exist in that sort of sphere.
I didn't realize that magazine advertising was still a thing. I didn't realize magazines were still a thing that would be viable for advertising.
They are, but the point is that they're not even doing anything else.
Do you count Game Informer as a magazine as opposed to a glorified advertising bump?
Yeah.
Does
but
men's
even
health work
in-store
for Bayonetta?
marketing, promotional displays, that sort of thing isn't being considered as far as I can tell, because, I mean, you walk into Best Buy and it's not that's not what's up there. It's Assassin's Creed 3 or whatever that has the big, layout and the big promotional push.
Call of Duty. Whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even with
It
Sega,
has been a very long time when I've seen personally, I'm sure other people as well, have actually seen a dedicated Sega display in a game shop.
Yeah.
Or any shop for that matter.
Kind of sad, really.
the last thing, I think it was oh, look, there's an Xbox Live card with Sonic 4 Episode 1's logo on it, which is not really in-store advertising.
Come to think of it, I think the last big Sega ad that I saw was around about the time Generations came out. Games flagship store on Oxford Street put up a huge
yes,
Generation banner.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, that's for Generations. It's one of the big. It was their big title. It's a big anniversary for the main mascot of the company. That's kind of understandable. But you'd think for the other games that they've done, the other IPs they've done, they would at least do something. But they just haven't.
Yeah, it's
honestly,
you're not seeing say Bayonetta on the front of a store like that.
Mm-mm.
And the last freaking commercial that I saw wasn't even a Sega commercial. It was the cameo of Sonic in the Progressive commercial.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember anything else.
Yeah, which, by the
recently.
way, I'm not really sure how that increased brand awareness. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't know if they paid for that position or what, but it just,
It was
right?
cool,
I'll
but
to get my insurance from Progressive now? I mean...
They noticed that we were angry, getting older, and needed to save on car insurance.
yeah, I guess it was directed towards us, the old coots of the Sonic
Narcissistic.
fandom.
I don't know about that because I have a niece and she absolutely adores Sonic. And
Well, you introduced her
and
to
she-
Sonic.
Right, but I'm saying that anytime she sees Sonic, she can't help but to like shout his name and want Sonic stuff and all that, and like just seeing Sonic in a commercial at all and anything. I mean, getting like anybody to do that is pretty much their goal. I mean, they're not
Well,
just.
again, you were the influence of that, and it'd be great
That
if
doesn't
there were
matter.
more things. Yeah, no, there's got to be stuff out there for Sega.
Just,
They're just not making
again-
an effort.
Again, I know one of my little cousins is very similar. He sees anything to do with Sonic,
Yeah.
and he's instantly interested in it whatsoever. Now, that's not an influence from me. That's not an influence from anyone in the family. That's an influence because he enjoys the games, and he always has done since he first got his first games console. And that's the sort of people that I'm assuming that sort of advert would be actually marketing towards. See something to do with Sonic. Oh, look, mum, look, dad. There's something to do with Sonic on TV. And
Right,
there you go.
but
There's the interest.
the point is that children don't buy car insurance.
Hey mom,
Yes,
hey dad,
this-
look at this ROM hack I made.
Well, what?
Look,
Look, I think you need to insure your Power Wheels because right. So right, because see the last big ad that Sega threw out there was that billboard for Sonic 4 Episode 2, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like a huge billboard campaign across the country. It was a single billboard, not that far from their headquarters. That's not
Yeah.
Great
advertising.
Gene, one of our staff writers, and I had like this ongoing conversation for an hour of whether we should go to San Francisco and tag that board and just be like, graffiti rocks, Jet Set Radio is better, why are you advertising this game?
nice. See, oh man, they could do so many creative advertising gimmicks for Jet Set Radio. Holy crap!
I know, right? And it's a wonderful game. I think a lot of people haven't been exposed to it, and a lot of kids who kind of missed out on Dreamcast would really enjoy the game. So,
And also in that franchise, Jet Set Radio Future. I mean, I don't know that many people actually had an Xbox, the original Xbox, not the 360. And it was a good while before I think they even got that compatible with a 360. And it's one game that is usually forgotten completely and totally.
I love
Because
Jet Set
they
Radio.
realized
so,
that they could
although-
take that game and sell it to somebody else because it came free with the Xbox along with Sega GT 2002.
It did.
Although,
It
secret
did.
confession time, I've played Jet Set Radio Future when I bought my Xbox, but I still have a sealed copy of the original Jet Set Radio.
What?
Never actually got around to opening it.
Actually, I've
my
noticed. I have noticed that there has been sort of a push for Jet Set Radio Future because of what they're trying to do with this port. I mean, it's not just we just took the PC version of a Dreamcast game and posed it for our Dreamcast collection. Like, they've gone almost the whole mile that they possibly can. Like they've improved the gameplay. They've mapped the third stick to the camera. They've added in the online features for making graffiti, and they've included almost all the songs that were from each territory into all the versions of the game that they're putting out. So, I mean, it seems like that they're really... I mean, I've definitely noticed through what they've been trying to do, especially through their graffiti contests on their blog, they are trying to make a push, but again, it's going to be just us Sega faithful who's really been mostly aware of this, unless, you have people who will fight tooth and nail that, hey, the Dreamcast is the greatest system ever.
Yeah, it's
yeah, it's getting to markets beyond people like us that they need to
Wait,
really
fight tooth
restore.
and nail? Who needs to fight tooth and nail? It is the best console ever.
Nah.
It's the definitive console. It's still going.
I'm
Yeah,
so
but you
is
could
the
also.
Atari 2600. That's not a really good metric.
Yeah.
You know what? No.
No, yeah, I was gonna say you're done.
So what can Sega do that would actually improve advertising is probably what I'm wondering, because
Actually, do
print is
something.
dying. Well, besides that, but print is dying. Like, I think there's been reports that like advertising has just become more and more ineffective altogether. Like, maybe we could see more advertisements of their games on television, and of course, because of their new direction, they're going to be, gearing more towards digitally distributed content, which is going to be ever so increasingly difficult to advertise through like other formats that such as television, because nobody does that.
I don't think it'd make much of a difference. To be honest, any advertising at this point would be better than what they're doing, which is basically sitting on their thumbs, making these properties, making these games, and having nobody interested in them. I mean, these days Sega isn't really part of the, it's not a hot topic.
What's especially sad is that Sega used to be so good at
Good
it,
at it.
especially Sega Europe.
Well, they hired some of the best marketing and advertising agencies in the world, and right now, because they're not doing that, you can see a clear reflection in the suffering. Like, well, just to go back to Jet Set Radio, like, imagine if they hired people to do, like, street viral graffiti in, like, a bunch of different major cities. I mean, it wouldn't cost a lot. You just pay, a couple of punk kids to do it, coordinate it through an agency.
Did
you
Jet
have
Set
to get
Radio
things viral. You have to do things that people will talk about nowadays if you want your product to be promoted.
Even do it now with the whole augmented reality tagging and everything like that. Just doing an augmented reality tagging graffiti. There you go, straight there. You hold up your camera of your iPhone or your Android phone to look at the augmented reality stuff that's been put over a building. You see some graffiti. It's via marketing of Jet Set Radio. There you go, right there. You don't even have to do actual graffiti in real life. It's right there.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Honestly, it's like ever since they fell out of the hardware running, where they basically it seems like because they've stopped having to beat Nintendo, they just stopped caring. It's like, we're third. We create software now. We don't bother with that. I guess we can fire these brilliant advertisers who we hired to beat Nintendo, this giant, back in the 90s.
Well, I don't think they can advertise saying, "Yeah, fuck Nintendo. Please buy Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on GameCube. Thank you." Nobody likes it. And you know what? Now that I think about it, they are still trying to pull that kind of crap, because I remember when they were, when the developers were talking about All Stars Racing Transform, they kept saying like, it's like Mario Kart, but Sonic's edgier and cooler. And it's like, do you really want to pull that kind of crap right now? That doesn't fucking work.
What?
Is that a television talking?
Your silence. I don't. The most distant whispers.
I think
No!
Sorry.
No, what I was saying is that you can't really pull the "I'm edgy and cool" card when right now your brand is associated with 12-year-old furries. Like, if you want to make something cool, you have to actively invest in being cool. You can't just play the cool card for 20 years and not do anything cool.
There you go. Pretty much.
It also doesn't help that although you do have new IPs and you want them to sell, you don't bother advertising them, and two, you don't reward the people that actually do go out and do something with them.
Mm-hmm.
Actually buy them, actually enjoy them, and then it's basically, oh yeah, you knew about this. Okay, bye now. We're going to do something else entirely different.
Well, I'm trying to think of
they definitely don't reward their customers.
No.
I'm wondering of what Sega has done lately that was good. Like, I think it was a cool move that for PlayStation Plus they let everybody get Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. Like, you got that for free as soon as they announced it, part of that E3 conference. Like, that was pretty cool. Like, again, that's mostly internet-based advertising, and that's if you have your machine connected to your system, and if you have the PlayStation Plus crap, which,
I mean, are they really hurting that much financially that they can't throw a few commercials on Cartoon Network, For Christ's sake.
Yeah,
well,
but
commercials are very expensive. Let's not kid ourselves.
But it's Sega. I mean, if they can't afford advertisement, if
They
can't
can't afford to
make
keep four branches of their company open, Pat.
then they've got to make some sort of a risk. Otherwise, they are going to go down without even trying.
yeah, but then again, I'm also wondering, because there was a mention earlier, like why can't we have commercials for Jet Set Radio? Was the original Jet Set Radio even that successful to make back the money they spent on those commercials? I don't think they were.
Did they have commercials for the original one? I don't remember.
Of course.
I don't remember ever seeing a commercial.
They did.
I totally remember watching them. They made like a fake Japanese commercial for American audiences. Like,
was it any good though? This Jet Set Radio commercial.
It was basically weird, crazy. Hey, it's Japanese kind of game show type stuff, which I guess was appropriate because
It was
they did.
2001. It made more sense then.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, this is the same company that around the same sort of time frame promoted the European launch of the Dreamcast with a barber.
A barber.
Yes, a barber.
Yep.
Oh, wow! This commercial's really weird. I don't understand what's going on.
Oh, you got one of those live stream ads?
No, I just looked up the Jet Set Radio commercial, the American one, and went way back when. I don't remember ever seeing this. That's a weird commercial because it's very. I don't know. See, I feel like I'm trying to remember exactly how the world existed back in the year 2000 involving Japan and the U.S.
Oh my God, the world's gonna end!
Oh God!
Well, that was the height of like mania. That was like when it first kind of got cool to be interested in Japan.
Oh.
So, like I said, I think it probably made more sense back then, but
Okay, because right now it's like I don't get a thing, but it's like Japan. But I mean, if Sega wants to be cool, I think part of the problem is like in the '90s, Sega was like, we are cool because we're better than a thing, but it was because at that point it was very only Nintendo. It's like we're better than Nintendo because we're cooler than Nintendo, and you're getting older, and you don't want to be made fun of. You don't want to be called 6 because now you're 10. And
We got Michael Jackson. We got Joe Montana.
Montana.
Montana. We got Tommy Lasorda. We got motherfucking Pat Riley. Like those are not exact officers of cool.
John Madden.
Yeah.
But-
cool is never something. Cool is never something really Nintendo's gone for. But at the same sort of time, it was a genius move on the part of Sony at the time when they brought PlayStation out. They had demo units of Wipeout playing in clubs. They basically, by the time Dreamcast came out, Sony had all but taken the cool vote on that sort of score. And then what are you left with?
Right. But I think once it went beyond the we're better than this one particular company, when the whole gaming industry changed, it was like Sega couldn't figure out how to be cool without making fun of someone at the same time.
Yeah,
they couldn't just
that's
be like,
true.
look at us, we're cool because we're cool.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
And now
Like,
it's just turned into just making fun of themselves.
Now they just don't do shit.
Right, like
Well,
if
honestly,
they could be
that's
like,
another angle they could take in advertising. You know how
Yeah.
Domino's did the whole our pizza sucks" thing? Like, it might just be time
Some
for them to admit,
transparency.
we really boned ourselves for like 3-4 years there. Now
Yeah.
give us a
Right.
second look.
What? So
Even
you're
Nintendo.
thinking? You're thinking sort of advertising on the lines of the hard reset video that was put out. That sort of vein.
Right.
No. You don't want them. You don't want them apologizing. They've been apologizing. They've been saying the same shit of like, "Oh, guys, we know Sonic has been doing that well, but he's back.
I'm not
He's faster,
saying do
and
it
by
in
the
a
way, we
shitty
got the
interview
Werehog."
because they've kind of their credentials on shitty interviews. I'm saying do it as an
Yeah.
advertising campaign.
right, because that's the thing. Like the advertising campaign for Sonic Generations, the TV commercials that existed, you didn't get a real sense that like they were trying to get back to something. It was just like, oh, here's Sonic, but there's another Sonic, and he kind of looks like the Sonic you might have remembered way back when, but we're not really going to point out anything in this commercial, and the 30 seconds are done, goodbye. The commercial, the advertising campaign really dropped the ball in the sense that, hey, classic Sonic is returning. This is what you liked back in the early 90s. This was cool, and here he is. And they should have made that a focus as they were trying to aim toward the nostalgia market. They did that for, like the trailers online, but once again, that's like, those are the trailers that are on Sega's YouTube channel or their official website. That's not the commercials that the average Joe is watching. Instead, it's just like, oh, here's Sonic, and look at that, okay, goodbye. You don't really get a sense of anything. It doesn't,
Guys who brought back Sonic, he now eats purple colors and he turns queer. I mean, into a monster. Shit.
Wow. Wow.
And, I mean, they could have played off the fact that Sonic was cool in the 90s, and they didn't have to be like, let's make fun of Mario. They just could have played like, okay, here's Sonic, and he's cool, and they could have tried to evolve into sort of like a timeless sort of classicness, because I mean, Sonic was designed to be in the same vein as Mickey Mouse and Felix the Cat, characters that have existed beyond the test of time. Wait, that didn't come out right, but they're supposed to be something that's not just here, it's hip, it's cool, it's gone. It's supposed to be something that persists, and they just really didn't play off of that in the way that they could have, because I don't know. Someone else talk for a second.
Well, when it came to introducing Sonic, they had to make a way or show off that he was cooler than Mario, because the whole idea is, how can we top this industry giant who stands here, and that's to basically, like, right now, right at then when they introduced Sonic, it was around the time that Sega or Nintendo didn't see fit to upgrade their hardware because the NES was doing just fine. And then finally, when a competitor showed up, they introduced Sonic, not only because of the attitude, but because the game system itself was a major leap beyond what the NES could possibly do. And then, of course, that pushed Nintendo to finally make another system, and then that's when that whole bottleneck happened at that point of, like, who's going to win this quote-unquote console war.
But it was also, at the time, remember, you've got Mario, it's a platform game, it's brilliant, everyone can play it. Oh look, here's Sonic, here's another platform game, but it's so much quicker, it's so much faster, look at Sonic Go. He's so much faster and cooler than some slow, fat plumber.
And then PlayStation came out and they advertised that Crash Bandicoot was a fucking asshole. It's like, yeah, Mario, guess who it is? It's your worst nightmare. I got the best graphics.
I don't know.
Didn't they?
Crash Bandicoot. You saw that Australian promo.
Wasn't the whole thing of Crash, though, in like the dev videos when they're talking about Crash, like the original ones, they were calling it Sonic's arse or something like Sonic's arse camera?
That was
Sonic's
the development of the game engine. Like, that was what the basis of when they were developing that the framework for their engine.
Because it is basically a linear platform game, just from the view of the character's arse.
And you got a furry animal.
How would Sonic work in 3D? I guess you'd spend a lot of time looking at his arse.
Yeah. Actual quote.
Yep.
And then we got Sonic Adventure, where you're looking more at the back of his head, not his arse.
And if it wasn't for Crash Bandicoot, we'd be getting another Way of the Warrior. I'm just saying. We could have got more White Zombie. We could have gotten more. Oh God.
Crash is somewhat amusing in hindsight, simply because that's a game with a mixture of 2D on side-on sessions with a little bit of in and out of the screen, plus 3D from behind stuff, which sounds awfully familiar to modern 3D titles.
Yeah.
Hello, Mark Cerny, how are you?
But then you also look at how Crash has gone from that to what it is now, and you think, oh God. But anyway, we're not talking about Sony and Crash.
Yeah, we're kind of going all over the place at this point. And now, I guess I could say, since they're making such a strong digital push, like, in a way that kind of makes sense, since Sega, primarily revolves around amusement type of machines. I mean, as Scarred Sun has definitely made some extensive research into a lot of, like, old, a lot of things that Sega's done back in the day, and it's basically it's stuff designed for, quick entertainment. So since they've been mostly delving into the arcade business, and then after that fell out, a lot of their major business just kind of went away. Now that they have digitally distributed content, not only can they put out games for cheaper, that's like the best venue for a lot of the style of game that they put out. Most of the other games that you would see that would be of a major caliber wouldn't usually be like your Call of Duties, or in Sega's case, your Alpha Protocols, your Bayonettas, and things like that. You would get RPGs. That would be like the most major thing that they would probably put out that's not Sonic related.
At the same time, it is somewhat concerning that a company let's face it, used to be one of the big two, is now basically scaling itself back to be entirely a digital distribution developer with the occasional disc release. From a financial and just general overall perspective view of the company, it's not that encouraging.
Oh, from a financial standpoint, it's awful. Like this is a bad venue for them to be in right now, because they will not be looked at as a major player that much longer. Of course, at the same time, considering that the industry is trying to gear towards a more digitally distributed venue channel for their games, we're not quite at that point yet. And right now, Sega's kind of at the front of it, which, for certain aspects it works, but at the same time, for such a major company, it's going to be something that's just going to tank something fierce. It's not a good position for them to be in at all. Maybe they could.
I was kind of wondering, Sega Sonic fan, if you had bullet points for these for this preceding podcast, other subjects.
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to let you guys talk about all that, because I know you guys were getting into it.
Feel free to jump in. Sometimes
if you let us talk about stuff, we might just go on for 5 hours. Just
I do gotta go to my day job, day job, in like an hour.
Oh, okay.
I guess in closing, Sega's doomed. We're all screwed, and Sonic Retro will for now be Sony Retro, and we'll be covering all things.
The voice of optimism.
I'll get working on a logo.
It's the end of the
Courtney,
world,
since Scarred son, since you're intimately familiar with Sega, how many old Japanese guys
the
are
worst term you could use?
You are intimately familiar with Sega?
I haven't really ever played it before, honestly, but I am interested in it. How about that Phantasy Star Online beta coming out?
If it ever comes out, if it comes out here, sure. I'm sure they have to be doing something for the U.S., but especially right now, MMO business is such a risky venue, mostly because, obviously World of Warcraft is the dominant species, and every MMO that has come out since then, and especially now, has been either unnoteworthy or they're just dead.
Well, you say that, but PSO, the original PSO, was insanely popular.
It was awesome.
In all aspects of the world. Japan, US, Europe.
Right. Well, also, you got at the time when Phantasy Star Online came out, it was like, hey guys, you like Sonic, right? Okay, this is made by Sonic, but it's not Sonic. It's on the Dreamcast, and it's online, and it's free, and you don't even need a computer, and you can, it was like, it was very exciting, and you don't have that exact. You don't have that anymore, because if you're like, hey guys, this is made by the people who made Sonic, they're like, oh, but hasn't the last decade of Sonic been terrible? And you're like, oh, don't think about that part.
Maybe, but buy it anyway.
What's under this? What's under this blanket? Well, from the creators of Sonic, I brought you guessed it, Billy Hatcher.
To be honest, I'm sure quite a few. Billy Hatcher. Billy Hatcher. Oh my god.
Who's even in charge of
I guess somebody would be eating a lot of crow if something like that came out again.
I love Billy Hatcher personally. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I thought Billy Hatcher was a nice fun game.
It was a nice
honestly,
before I was busy being stupid.
It was like, hey, I'm playing Sonic Adventure, except I'm rolling an egg.
It was not like that. You shut your dirty mouth. But
Hey.
like about PSO again, like a lot of people, I originally only bought it because of the Sonic Adventure 2 demo. At the time, I had no qualms putting down $50 for a one-stage demo, but I ended up really enjoying PSO. It was very nice.
I first played it when a friend actually recommended it to me. I went round his place. He played it online, showed me everything about it. I got insanely into it, and almost ruined my exams. But that's nothing. That's nothing entirely. But no, I mean, it was one of the first games like that. First of all, on a console in that sort of way, that was insanely popular around the world, all simultaneously. And I don't know. I think while they've had many different episodes of it, and everyone's wanted a PSO2, I think if they actually did bring out PSO2 and actually did a decent advertising campaign for it, people would remember PSO. They would look into it, and I think it would actually be quite successful. Actually, I mean, I know people have said there's loads of MMORPGs now. There's tons. There's a flooded market on it.
Yeah, but how many are good?
Exactly, and you've also got the little niche markets for it. You've got the nostalgia factor of people remembering the first PSO. You've got mags back in there and things like that,
Right.
and people enjoy that sort of thing. There's one thing Sega have got right in their games. It's the collect them all things. In every single game, they've always got a collectathon, a collect them all, collect this, collect all of these items, do this. And the mags, in a way, is one major aspect of that. And in the major MMORPG world right now, although you've obviously got the experience and the level up, you haven't got much of that. So it might be just the niche that they need for it.
Mm-hmm. I'd be all for it. Hell.
Is Phantasy Star Online 2 being made by Sonic Team, or is it being made by someone else entirely?
I have
Like-
no idea.
I don't know.
Okay.
Some team within there. Of course, one thing that is definitely something to point out is, Phantasy Star Universe kind of suffered from some issue of, a number of issues, and the point that it was boring. And that was also partially because Sega had just gone through a corporate restructuring, and sure enough, tradition, I guess it is that Phantasy Star Online 2, there was another corporate restructuring. Whether or not that affected the game, who knows at that time, at this point.
Mhm.
But, one could hope that nothing had happened and Sega just said, fuck it, we're just going to bank it on this game and see what happens.
Why spell fantasy with a PH, and what is the star?
Why spell caliber with a U?
Well, ignoring the PH bit, isn't the
Because
star
there
fairly
are
obvious?
different-
It's in space.
Yeah, because it's part of the Algol star system.
Oh.
Wow, so it's actually a part of the Mario Galaxy universe.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
I see the
Also
connection.
distantly related to Mad Space.
That's-
And I think the online part is quite obvious in the name.
Knuckles, we're coming to you from Pumpkin Hill.
Is it connected to Space
ready?
Harrier at all?
Completely unrelated, but when I was living in San Francisco, I had a huge urge because of the level Mission Street in Sonic Adventure 2, and Mission Street is one of the major streets in San Francisco, and the two have nothing in common. I wanted to just run around with a video camera and ask people dumb inane questions about Mission Street. Because it's mostly just Hispanic people and Filipinos and Chinese who have no idea what you're talking about with your nerdy video game.
However, all the roads are suspended in the air, and they will rock back and forth and not actually fall down.
Yes. Also, I was chased all the way down to Fisherman's Wharf by a giant truck. I almost died.
While riding on a piece of metal, using it as a surfboard.
And the truck goes on walls.
Did it
Because
have,
that's just how it rolls.
is it rolling along at the speed of sound, or is it slightly slower?
Well, it's got places
It had
to go.
and I had to follow my rainbow.
Well, I'll say this much. I'll say this much. The reaction to the Sega News was really something I didn't exactly expect. I expected a lot of depressed fans, but it seems like they're more divided than depressed.
I think they're just jaded at this point. I also like the fact that the head of Sega Europe basically denied any and all rumors, saying, "Yeah, we're not going through a corporate restructure. Shut up, guys."
Now let us just air our dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Right. So, Scarred Sun, like I was saying before, since you're intimately familiar with Sega,
Wow.
I'm just going to keep saying it. Until
yes, how many old Japanese businessmen are there that are connected to Sega that are almost dead, that are willing to shell out? Are there any more left that are willing to shell out millions upon millions of dollars to rescue a company from the brink of destruction, or have they all died?
Are you saying basically where's our CSK savior?
Yeah.
It's kind of a tricky situation, especially because after the Sega Sammy merger, a lot of the people up top in like the top corporate positions are a little more interested in how fast a money-making machine Sammy and their pachinko world is. And so much of video games now, and I think this is probably why they're trying to push toward digital distribution, really require like a long-term strategy and plan. If you want to get ahead, you need to be thinking about what you want to do, even like...
Yeah.
I love that ticker, Donnie.
Don't tell me that Recorder Dude's doing the ticker again.
Yeah, it was tickering.
Yeah, he was
What?
doing that last week.
Yo, you didn't do it? What? Who's running that?
Like I said, it's Recorder Dude, probably. He was doing the same thing last week, as I found out.
Check. What?
Weird.
What?
It's a check.
It's a long story.
Oh, okay.
I
God.
think. I think we lost
Oh,
Courtney.
no. It's back.
Courtney! No!
I think that intimate relationship with Sega just went a little too far.
Right, she just completely dropped out. She's like, you need a long-term strategy of at least, and then see what
I
happens.
blame
right?
David entirely for this.
What? I didn't
Yes.
do it.
I don't think Sega really has a long-term goal other than we just need to excise as much of Sega as we can and just keep trying to put out arcade games, even though there's not really an arcade scene anymore.
It's the problem. Sega is still way wrapped up in what they used to be, in the sense that I mean, wasn't there even a point in time after they dropped out of the hardware market that they were still like talking about, okay, we need to figure out how to get back into the hardware market, even though they were like years and years and years away from even the idea of considering the concept of getting back into the hardware market?
Well,
And just
I think so.
There were rumours of Dreamcast 2 for years after Sega went to a software-only company.
right, like
How much of it was wishful thinking, though?
right.
Well, I'm
but-
sure they had a system idea planned even after, before the Dreamcast came out, of like, what are we going to do to get past this point? Things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you
There would
always
been
have.
there
Most
would
of
have
these
been
companies always have those backup plans.
No, on the drawing board when Dreamcast came out, there would have been a successor. I mean, when just any random company, let's just pick a number out of the air. When Sony brought out PlayStation 2, they would have been in pre-planning stages for PS3.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think, like, like I've been listening to like the Giant Bomb podcast, and they were talking about how before the Dreamcast died, Sega had like this whole slew of products that they were going to try and put out, such as the Dreamcast zip drive and things VMU MP3 players. Just like all these crazy ideas they had.
Oh, you came back.
Well, the MP3 player makes sense. I mean, even looking in 2001 at zip drives over like a DVD player made no sense whatsoever.
You could store 250 megabyte of data. It's bigger than a floppy drive. No, come back. Stop.
You know what? Recorder Dude,
You know what? No one likes
you're
jazz
ticking
drives
me off.
either.
I see what you did there.
But wait, the Dreamcast can play VCDs. That's cool, aren't they, guys? Right? Right?
What's a VCD?
Well, good thing we're
Says
not
everyone
making a big
else.
market in China.
I see what you did there.
I remember when Europe or whoever had like VCD Futurama episodes. I was like, man, I want those more than DVDs. I can play it on my computer because I don't have a working DVD drive there.
Oh man, what did I have? I had something on VCD. I don't remember what it was, but it was the worst thing.
Oh man, guys, what if the Pioneer Laser Active really took off? We should have all just had like giant Sega LD games.
Oh man.
Oh.
Tickling.
Sonic LD.
I remember when I posted up like a fake image of that on Twitter, and like everyone lost their shit thinking it was a real game. That was fun.
Sega's brand new title available exclusively on Laserdisc.
I love it.
That would go up. If that really existed, it would go along in the big numbers of ones like you've got Wario Land Virtual Boy. That basically no one has ever played.
Really? They gotta...
Oh my god.
Huh?
I always did think it kind of tragic that Sega came up with a VR headset they were going to do alongside the Virtual Boy, only it was actually full color, and it never made it to market. So they had like 5 launch games set up and everything.
What system was that actually for, though?
It was its own system. It was like Sega VR, I think the name was going to be.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Yeah.
man, the Sega VR. That looked like a cool. Why did they? Wasn't it a thing like people started getting headaches and were getting sick when they were?
Yeah,
testing
it was
out?
some sort of health hazard thing every time they kept trying to test it.
Sega should have done it anyway because health hazards are cool.
Pretty much.
I love him. Yeah. Did they actually have any games developed, or was it really just a point where they just had a bunch of tech demos and never really went beyond, like, this is what we could do with the Sega VR?
A couple of them were actually somewhat developed because we have prototypes of them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's only a few people who I think can actually play them, but I've definitely seen footage of them, and they're like fleshed out games. So,
We should start a petition to bring that back. That would be...
Well, I do believe it's, as much as this conversation, this topic at hand has been really interesting to hear. I guess it should be time for us to start moving along, shall we?
Oh.
I guess. If you don't want to talk about obscure consoles canceled in 1992.
Can we talk about how for Super Monkey Ball's advertising they put a bunch of stickers on Chiquita bananas?
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they did for Super Monkey Ball 1. They put it on they put stickers on like Dole bananas saying, "Please buy our game." Bow bow.
Why don't they do that? They could do that like with the
You know,
next Sonic
actually,
game. They could
Mark-
put stickers all over, like the Sonic burgers,
Yeah.
like on the meat itself. Put a sticker.
Yeah.
The sticker on the burger, definitely.
Anyway,
Sonic
I think we should let him get on and make it a new topic. So.
Right. Okay.
Alright, what was the next topic? Well, it's not really that bad of a, the next topic at hand isn't really per se a, like, global thing, I guess? I don't know. But, sorry, I'm just doing something real quick. Alright. Moving on, yeah, the second topic, it's more so... Yeah. Sonic Paradox is actually going to be at Summer Sonic this year, if anyone wasn't aware. Really, it's more so a, like I said, I guess it's a global thing, considering it's going to be stuff that we're going to be showing off is going to be shown at Summer Sonic, and a lot of people from all over the world see it, but just to clarify, no, we're not going to be showing Sonic shorts. It's going to be something else.
Oh.
No.
Oh, I thought there was going to be Sonic Shorts this year again.
No,
No actual shorts?
we're not actually going to be showing shorts this year, although there was, I can't clarify, I will say this much, we did consider it at one point, but I will, if people do ask more about the whole not shorts at Summer Sonic thing, I'll explain a little bit more, considering there is a Q&A I'm doing on Twitter an SPQ&A on Twitter I'm doing on 30 minutes after Summer Sonic closes its doors. So if there's any questions like people have about what we showed at Summer Sonic and about SP as a whole, yeah, there's a Q&A for that on Twitter in 30 minutes after Summer Sonic finishes. So
Is it a live adaptation of Mobius 25 years later?
oh god, that.
Because if it is,
Sonic High
I'm
School,
down.
the animated series?
Oh man!
Because I totally want to know more about what vagina crumbs are.
Or maybe you could do like a Pixar treatment of Sonic Fights Robotnik. That would be my favorite.
Oh man.
because the Mountain Dew and the things and the look
tank bot.
the tank.
David,
Yes.
you need to find another fan fiction.
Well, the Sonic High School is the new one.
No, you need to find another one after that one too.
Well, the one that I had found, which I loved, was deleted from DeviantArt before I.
All right,
backed it
David.
up.
First of all, we need to stop talking about Sonic fan fiction.
really do.
This is the bread
This is
and
not the time or the place to discuss Sonic fan fiction.
always the time, baby.
To be fair, is there ever a time to discuss Sonic fanfiction?
Yes, there is.
Sonic Amateur Games Expo 2012.
Sonic
Yeah, during our dramatic readings of them.
Oh god, it reminds me of bad fanfic night that SP has in occasional times. Last one went really, really awkward.
Wait, why are we talking about Sonic fan fiction again? God, what's the freaking
I
topic?
don't know.
Once upon a
talk about-
time, Sonic was a girl. The end.
Oh god.
That's my fan
Once upon a time,
Stop!
I was wearing Sonic shorts.
Anyway,
Anyway.
topic.
Anyway, for the how many of you guys are actually attending Summer Sonic, by the way?
Actually,
too
those that are
far.
in here, two of them.
Yeah, out of here,
Yeah,
it'll
the
be
British ones.
Overlord and myself.
They're actually from Europe, England.
Well, I can confirm that as of along with the Summer Sonic site that yes, Boozerman and Flash Twister will not only be at Summer Sonic, but they'll actually be presenting the animation collab that SP did, the project that will be on display at Summer Sonic. So not only will you guys be able to see like what SP made for Summer Sonic, but you'll also be able to meet a couple of the animators.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Just, I will say this much also, Boozerman did work on something as well for Summer Sonic, so you guys will probably see that as well. I've already seen what SP as a whole has done, like the SP collab animation. I just don't know exactly what Boozerman's animation is exactly, but yeah. Anyway, never mind the self-promotion, moving on. Yeah, it's a little bit more better topic to speak about, although not a whole lot. Sonic 4 Episode 2 is now out on Android and Tegra devices. Woo.
Well, the Tegra device one has been out, but they
Yep, it
just
sure
recently
is.
put out
Moving
the
on.
Android version. Hey, now I spent the money to get episode 1 and 2 on my fancy new
Well,
Tegra-enabled tablet. It is. Let me tell you, it is Tegra powered up the Tegra ass.
yeah, I was just about to tell you the go-to man about Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2 on Tegra devices is Bartman himself.
Oh man. let me tell you, it is Tegra times 1
Tegra
because it's only got, only got
Tegra
one Tegra.
See, when
Tegra
you say
time.
it, those aren't even real words. You're just saying Sonic 4 is on a thing. On a Tegra video, they Tegra 2. It's like, what are you talking about?
We're not gonna bust out our Tegra jokes. Listen to our podcast, our previous podcast regarding episode 2, and
Yeah.
it's like a drinking game for all Tegra-enabled devices. You are not a man unless you have a Tegra-enabled device. Participate in Sonic
Give it to
Birthday.
Bartman. Yes, the advertisement.
We hope If you'd like to experience Sonic on a Tegra device, you can win your very own. That's right, Tegra-enabled device. If you enter in Sonic.
This is all Sega needs. Sega just needs to employ Bart right here.
Yeah.
And there you go. Their problems are sorted.
Sega Tegra.
Oh man, the Ortega. They could do a thing with them.
It's Tegration. Let me tell you.
Oh man.
That's what we need, more taco promotions.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't fucking love tacos?
Man, I could have had tacos instead of falafel today. But they were not
You went through
Tegra-enabled.
all that hassle to try to get Tegra-enabled falafel. You could have just had some tacos.
Man.
You could have had it on a taco phone. I think that might be Sega's way to the future. Go back and make things for the N-Gage.
Oh man.
Retro cool.
Oh man, Engage. I want to get a Nokia Engage.
You know what? I saw some Engage games at this vintage game store I went to. I don't know whether or not to get them. I can afford.
You should totally bring like Engage back. Like put it on the AT&T network or something.
Yep.
Zero shame.
You could. Okay, that's what we'll do. So you will go to Sonic Boom, and as you meet people, you're going to hand them random Nokia Engage cartridges.
No, God, no! Wait, no!
Like, here's Tony Hawk. Yeah.
Hey guy, I got this Tegra-enabled Engage device. You gotta take it. I gotta get
What has science?
What next? Tegra on the Gamecom, which is not pronounced game.com, but Gamecom.
Oh god, the Gamecom is a horrible
true?
device.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is like super aside, but isn't it true that when the Gamecom came out, if you actually went to game.com, it was a porn site, and they had to quickly change that and buy it out from whoever actually owned the porn site?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I want to think it's true.
Well, I know what is true. The first time I discovered porn was Zelda.com.
Alright, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. Enough.
No.
If you didn't type in Zelda,
So, Donnie, moving on, what other subjects would you like to talk about?
Please.
I gotta say, it was Tegra-enabled.
What the hell?
Well, that's it for Sonic Retro. Thank you for enjoying this Tegra-enabled.
right now,
You had
Donnie
to
is like.
mention Tegra. You just had to.
Right now, Donnie's opening he's opening up a text document. It's a list of people that are never coming back to the show.
Document? I heard.
Oh god. Right, show.
Tegra.
God damn it.
Tegra-enabled.
Yeah,
What's next on your bullet points?
What's next on your train wreck? Wait.
well, apparently, Sega's gonna be at the Tokyo Game Show this year.
Does anybody live in Japan? Okay. Moving on.
No, but what are they showing on there?
I don't think they've actually confirmed per se what the games are going to be shown there, but I wouldn't be surprised if All Stars Racing Transformed was there, among a few others. So pretty much the most obvious ones will more than likely be there. I mean, why wouldn't they? But
Well,
I get the feeling we'll know an
How
exact.
did All Stars Racing do in Japan?
They didn't.
I thought that was
put it
definitely
out
a
in
Western
Japan.
targeted title.
Yeah, they never put out All Stars Racing of any kind in Japan.
Wow, really?
Yep.
I did
It's
not.
just
They
not
did put it out
Sega.
in China though, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because
What?
everything's out in China.
So that
No,
basically
like
means then-
legally this time, David.
Oh,
So
what?
essentially, as far as Japan is concerned, this year's big Sonic title is Sonic 4 Episode 2.
That's
As far as
it.
Japan is concerned,
Yep.
there has never been a big Sonic title ever. So
So it'd be really awkward to put out something
I
that
thought they
says
really liked Sonic Jam.
Sonic's Ultimate Pee-wee's Playhouse.
But Japan likes Sonic Jam? What?
Yeah, I thought that was like the first really big Sonic title that sold well over there.
I guess it's because it was on
Oh.
the set.
Well, the Saturn
Well,
was.
yeah. And Japan loved the Saturn.
Yeah, exactly.
I know according to Game Rankings, whatever website, that I guess the original Sonic Adventure is like a standalone title that sold the most. But it's still way below like the worst selling Mario game. So, it's upsetting. But I didn't realize Sonic
Who
Jam.
knew Japan went like Mario Hoops 3-on-3? I mean, come on.
Right, because technically the best-selling Sonic game in Japan is Mario and Sonic: The Olympic Games, because it's just Mario, and it's Mario. Mario, he's had good games.
See, Mario is going to get Sonic stuff to get him back on track.
So, have I been a part of a fandom that has been worshipping a restaurant?
Yes. Yes, you have.
Possibly.
Yeah. We're just really big fans of onion rings and piccolos.
I remember when I asked.
Oh, so is that who that red guy is?
I asked a guy who worked at Sonic at one point, "What does this have to do with Sonic the Hedgehog?" And everybody just laughed at me.
And then they kicked you out.
Yeah, that's why I'm a dropout, you guys.
Wasn't it true that once upon a time the Sonic fast food company approached Sega to like use Sonic in some aspect as like a mascot, or at least like a pseudo mascot for something or other, and Sega said no?
It really wouldn't surprise me if something along those lines happened, like some discussion between Sega and Sonic. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
It makes sense. So.
It does. Like, I thought I heard it from someone somewhere at some time, but I don't remember anything about the specifics. I could be making it up, because Sonic does love McDonald's food. That's what Yuji Naka said back when he was actually in charge, and he was only, in charge in the most existential sense.
Of course. Why else would they have done the Sonic LCD games only at McDonald's?
All right, but it's Sonic 3. Sonic 3
Yuji Naka made Sonic, didn't he?
This is what happened. Okay, back in 1989.
Okay, this is
What
a
have you
discussion
done?
I don't want to get into.
Oh,
I'm
man,
sorry.
we've
Donnie,
set David
moving
off.
on again.
Back in 1989, Yuji Naka made love to a Sega Mega Drive.
Moving on.
David, I gotta ask, was it Tegra enabled?
Right, guys. Every time they say one of those words, you know what you have to do. Take a drink.
Oh.
We
But I
encourage
finished
you
this
to
spell.
take a drink.
You're going to
Yeah,
kill yourselves. You know that, right?
I could start doing shots of Smirnoff because that's what I'm sitting
Not
on.
you.
Yeah, it's really gonna get your Tegra going. Let me tell you.
But,
David.
Yeah.
David.
Anyway, next point.
David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confirm,
let's-
deny. Are you going to show up at Sonic Boom this year? The
Oh,
fans
man.
want to know.
Who wants to know?
The fans.
The
By the
fans.
fans, I mean me.
I need to. Okay, because if I go, if I go, I'm gonna be I'm not gonna have a whole lot of money, so I'm gonna have to live on people.
I told you could stay at my house.
I could. I think that's what's gonna happen. I need to get a plane ticket of some sort.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks. Come on, son. Get it together.
Right, 'cause I have to do it soon, because if I don't get the ticket soon, it's gonna start getting expensive. So.
Yeah.
'Cause-
So there you have it, Internet. Both number 1 and number 2 will be
Oh,
at
man.
Sonic Boom.
Oh man, I am number 2. It's gonna be great. And I just, because I did talk to my boss, and he seems like okay, I guess, about me not being at work during those days. It's just funny because you see, normally most of my days are weekends, so.
Wait, is this a podcast about David's daily life? What's the next bullet point? So
Man.
my schedule is.
Hey, I like.
Donnie, direct man.
We could just talk about Sonic Boom in general.
Let me just check my diary.
Hey, remember last year when Sonic Boom was so cool, even though I wasn't there, because it had, okay, see, because here's the thing,
Was that a
Sonic
bar, right?
Boom. Okay, because Sonic Boom had the original Sonic team show up on stage. You had Naka, which everyone knows. You had Oshima, which people are starting to realize, hey, he actually drew Sonic. But I also had Yasuhara. And you see, the thing is that everyone seems to forget that Hirokazu Yasuhara is actually the guy who made Sonic the Hedgehog fun. And everyone forgets that. Because he's the one that designed the levels, and then he became the director of Sonic 3 Knuckles, and I mean he was the guy who's like, hey, he made the games good, he made the games fun, because otherwise it would have been, okay, here's this engine and here's this character, and it wouldn't have been Sonic, it would have been completely different, and everyone forgets that. And that's, I mean, he's Yasuhara, and he wasn't there after a certain time because he's like, I'm done with Sega, and he made Jak and Daxter 2 and 3 and the first Uncharted, but he also did that Pac-Man party game, but we can pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, we can forget the reboot that they did for Pac-Man because Namco pretty much gave up on it the whole way through. They were gonna make an animated series out of the new Pac-Man design.
Wasn't that still supposed to come out?
Yeah, some time ago.
Some time ago.
Wait, side note, did Yasuhara do the Pac-Man Championship Edition? Because that was a really fun game.
Apparently, the only Pac-Man game that he touched while he was at Namco was that terrible Pac-Man party game for the Wii. Well, I say it's terrible. I never played it. I just assume it's terrible. But
it doesn't look spectacular.
yeah, like I guess he wasn't. Because I would have assumed that he would have done the Championship DX, because they're like, we're putting him on Pac-Man. He's going to be there, and that was like the real Pac-Man game. They're like, no, we're going to put you on the.
Man, I sure do love Pac-Man Paradox.
Okay, yeah, real talk. Donnie, give us a new subject, or we're just going to talk about Namco.
Quickly.
Pac-Man Retro coming soon. Take your name.
I don't know if this is any better of a topic now that I'm looking at it, but apparently both episodes of Sonic 4 are going to be released on Xbox Live Arcade in Brazil on July 4th.
Okay, so they'll actually get a chance to play the games whereas they haven't previously.
Yeah,
So Brazil hasn't been subjected to episode 1 yet. Why not just do episode 2?
Is it bundled together or are they separate?
Apparently you'll be able to get both, and you'll also even be able to get the episode metal content that everyone absolutely thought was the most detailed and long-lasting DLC of all time, but
I was actually part of me was actually really disappointed in episode metal just because I mean, I know obviously they probably didn't keep the resources from episode 1, but in episode 2 you actually had backgrounds that are actually fully 3D. It wasn't just a case of, hey, we've made something in 3D and we flattened it down into tiles now. And then in episode metal, what do? They just bring out the old tiles again with maybe a little bit of a filter over them. And it was really disappointing. It would have been nice if they would have just given it the same polish that they did, I guess. I say polish. What they did with episode 2's level art, where they did actually keep it in 3D. They could animate it in 3D and they could upscale it. And if they did that for episode metal, then I don't know, it would have seemed a lot better.
Yeah, but then you got the gameplay issue where you're just playing a sluggish moving Sonic in episode 2 physics, but because like I thought Metal Sonic was supposed to be able to like crash through walls and spikes and things like that, but he can barely jump over stuff.
He used to be able to do that. Then he got pushed through that machine in what's the zone called? That's it, Magir. And then he basically lost all his powers ever.
But then he got a glowing ball.
And
lost Labyrinth.
Eggman was like, hey, Metal Sonic, yeah, I'm going to beat you up, but I want you to get better, please.
Firmware upgrade, you get some features, you lose some features.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, Sega could have just been like, no, you can play as Metal Sonic and not really care about the story, but they were like, look, we're going to have a story, and I think they were just arbitrarily trying to be like, episode 1 is important, guys, because of this thing, which isn't important.
Episode 1 story is basically Eggman is back and he's up to his old tricks.
So basically the same story as pretty much every Sonic title ever.
Yep.
Aw,
So
come on.
As it should be.
Well, the story's
Slightly more on topic. I would be interested in knowing if Sonic 4, 1, and 2... I know Tectoy has a new console that actually has downloadable games. And given that the Mega Drive 4 supports kind of like mobile phone games to be played on a console, if they would be like distributing the game to those channels as well, or if it's just going to stay as an XBLA PSN thing.
Doesn't that system run on J2ME?
Yeah.
You'd have real problems porting Sonic 4 to that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have that console like enabled to at least do like basic Android stuff.
The slowest version of Sonic 4 you'll ever see.
Okay, these are the same people who ported Duke Nukem to the Mega Drive and all sorts of crappy games to the Master System. They never really seem to care about slowdown.
Port, you say?
See, now if it was an Integra-powered Mega Drive...
Hey, don't steal my bit.
Oh my god.
It's too late! Now... Wait, so they're actually calling it the Mega Drive 4 over there? I did not know.
Yeah.
That. Oh. I'm glad to know.
Mega Drive 4 with
damn it,
great
that's
games
another-
such as SimCity 4 and FIFA 2008.
It's another
man.
piece of
Hey, I'm
Mega
all
Drive
for
hardware
it.
I've got to bloody get.
SimCity 4 is pretty fucking awesome.
SimCity 4 already? I didn't realize we were there.
We are in the future.
Oh. Future
Seeing as
powered by...
SimCity 2000 came out in what, 1991?
Yeah, but that was 2000.
So when did 3000 come out?
Yeah, really.
Was it 2000?
Where is it, Will Wright?
Oh, it's coming. Why are we even talking about this? God damn it!
Well, because in the Saturn version of SimCity 2000,
There is no SimCity here! It is gone!
there's supposed to be a Sonic.
Sony! Direct!
That's
EA Retro, look for it.
No
Are we
laughing!
talking
Only
about-
bullet points now!
We're talking about Road Rash.
what sort of rash do you have?
I gotta say, it's Road Rash, and I got it bad.
Oh.
Hey, it's Sega related.
God, say something!
Oh goodness.
Fucking-
But yeah, I moving on. Sonic Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure. Apparently the soundtracks are on iTunes now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Because those are good soundtracks.
How much are they?
I think we were discussing this actually a little bit earlier in a different Skype conference, how Sonic Rush Adventure is severely overlooked simply because of the vehicle travel between levels that people seem to not like, and again because the soundtrack didn't match up to Sonic Rush, and that seems to be the only two reasons that people don't like the game, which has level design, levels that are actually a lot better than those in Sonic Rush itself.
I personally liked Rush Adventure's soundtrack a little more, but that may be just
No,
because I just listened to
gotta
that a
disagree,
little more recently.
because even though, like, Rush Adventure, like, I like how it has kind of like a score going for it more than the first one did. The first one has, like, out of this world awesome music to me, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Especially the remastered versions, and I'm sure that's the one that's on iTunes.
Really? I thought you didn't like the soundtrack to that game.
No, it's Cat that doesn't like it.
Oh.
You're the same
Everybody throw rocks
person.
at Cat.
But no, it's definitely excellent. But do you
Why
know how
does my
much it-
opinion matter in this? I didn't say anything.
No, he thought that I was the one who hated Sonic Rush, the soundtrack.
soundtrack.
But
I don't
Anyway,
hate the
do you know
soundtrack
how
at
much
all.
it's-
I just think it's not appropriate for a Sonic game, but that's just me. Sounds cool though.
okay, well, corrected. I'm wondering how much it is. Do you know?
I'm actually looking at the article right now, coincidentally, and I can confirm that you can get both. The original Groove Rush soundtrack for Rush 1, and then Rush 2, technically, is the OST. You can get them via Amazon, MP3 in Japan, and iTunes. And the latter is a bonus track version, the Rush Adventure soundtrack, and apparently it contains the Surfing SRA remix of A New Venture.
Oh, cool.
And apparently on iTunes in the US at least, you can get both soundtracks for $9.99 each.
That's not bad.
Am I the
not
only one
bad.
am I the only one who downloaded these like 5 years ago?
Mm,
Like
no.
the Surfin' SRA remix, it's just like it's kind of just the same thing on loop. La la la
But
la.
it was not available on proper internet channels for purchase.
You mean you didn't
yeah, it
buy the
was.
CD, David?
What? No, I mean like on the internet. You know what? People don't use CDs anymore. Look at your home video game console. What does it use? It uses the magical blue DVD ours.
If I
that's
pre-order Persona 4 Arena, I get a soundtrack sampler because that's all.
This is not Persona.
Oh. But they dispute Persona games.
Stop right
it's
there.
relevant. No.
No. Put a bullet
It's
in
an
your
interesting
head.
idea. It's an interesting idea.
Whoa,
though.
harsh.
You could promote your soundtracks, or Sega could do the same thing. Like throw a few MP3s out if you pre-order a given title as a taster of the soundtrack disc.
I know if Generations came out with that, especially after people started hearing the music in some of those
Oh God, yeah.
some of those videos, people would be jumping all over that. God no. I know I would have been.
I should also note that you can also grab the tracks individually for 99 cents a piece. So if you don't actually want the whole soundtrack, you can get both of them. Like
That's
just
good
one a track or
because,
two.
I can't stand
Oh, man.
too black, too strong, too black, too strong.
Isn't that just Sonic's coffee order?
So can I just buy like? Oh man, I need the end act jingle. I gotta pay 99 cents for that one.
Who wouldn't?
Whoa!
You could use it as a ringtone.
Yeah, you could.
No, you have to buy that separately. It's an
Yeah.
additional 99 cents.
Oh.
Sorry.
Wake me when it comes on Amazon MP3, please. Is it
Alright, so this is kind of fizzled out. What's the next one?
Come on. Well, wait, we could talk about more soundtracks.
Nope.
Like, why is Mother 3 on the
No.
iTunes store?
What are you doing?
No.
That's not Sega Sonic Hedgehog Arcade.
Maybe Bart isn't the right person to bring Sega back up to the thing.
Right, because it'd be like, okay, okay, guys.
While we're talking about Persona, we might as well talk about Naruto.
Fuck you.
Right. Next point.
Yeah.
How many points do you
There's
have?
we're actually at the 7th one right now out of 10. So
Okay.
we're not
We're
that
only
far
at the 7th one?
Oh, no, so-
off. Well, it's progress. But
We're at the 7th of something.
You know, I'll
Okay.
just take what I can get.
yeah, out of 10 topics, we're at number 7 right now. So
Okay.
yeah. Well, it isn't really much of a topic anyway, but DLC and platform feature exclusives have been confirmed for All Stars Racing Transformed.
Oh, cool! Day 1 DLC. That's what I want in my video games.
Yay!
Does that mean I'm not even going to go into my stance because everybody already knows all this, so I'm not going to do this again. But on the subject of it, last time, as I recall, it was a character that was included as noted Day 1 DLC, basically via in the fork truck that they later sold. Ristar-based track was a Death Egg, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
The downloadable track with an extra additional racer who I cannot remember.
Metal Sonic.
Metal Sonic, okay. Do you reckon they will do more or less the same sort of thing again with a promotional pre-order character and a extra tracking character, or do you think they'd go for more this time?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I guess it would depend on how much the game sells. I mean,
Yeah, I was about to say it depends on its popularity.
yeah, I don't know how much DLC will be in there, but obviously there's going to be at least one bit. I mean,
Yeah, we can't get enough of that DLC
It's
anymore.
it's just a shame that they seem to be everyone seems to be latching on the idea of DLC now, as everyone says, first day DLC. This stuff is already on the disc, and yet you have to pay extra money to be able to pay for something that you already have there. The whole point of DLC was that it was downloadable content, whereas the only downloadable content it seems to be now, more than anything else, seems to be a case of, hey, this downloadable content, it's basically a file that says unlock this.
Well, this is the thing as well, isn't it? There was another thing. There was a comic I saw online that perfectly summed this up, of a guy sitting in a restaurant where you have the original intention was, would you like to pay extra for some extra pie, sir? Or would you like to pay extra to get the rest of your pie, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the days when you bought a game and that's what you got? All you got was the game. No DLC.
Yeah.
No DLC, nothing. You bought the game.
Yeah, I remember when I bought Sonic 3 and, you know...
And then Sonic and Knuckles came out, first day DLC.
Not quite first day.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the good old days.
When you could actually put a game in and it would actually open straight away without having to download patches and check for updates. And
Yeah.
It's got skill tree. They use skill tree on this and Unreal technology. Okay, great.
Yeah, you
Skill
guys,
form. All right. We
Not-
needed a whole page for this.
yeah, not only would you be able to get the game, but you could actually play the damn thing as soon as you get it.
Now, I'm pretty sure like they had a lot of plans for DLC for the first All Stars Racing game, but I'm sure a lot of that stuff fell through. And you know what we got in return was a lot of stuff that was less than desirable and way too expensive for what you would actually get. Like, really, the only noteworthy thing that we got was Metal Sonic, and the way they handled that DLC, not that great, especially since it fragmented anybody who actually bought the DLC. You had to, when you created a game, you had to switch a toggle that said, do you want to turn on the Metal Sonic DLC? Because if you do, then anybody who doesn't have it can't join your game. So, yeah, you got to pay $10 for a whole character and one whole track that you'll probably never really race on. And like, I also remember that, you know, if you try to play that game in multiplayer, like, there's like these sound sources from like the lasers that, you know, that emit a sound, it plays. But the problem is, when you play in like split screen 2 to 4 player, that sound listener doesn't move. So no matter where you are in that level, like, you'll just hear the same laser sound effect over and over again, and the more players that are there, the more sound listeners there are, and the more times that laser sound plays, and it gets louder with each player. Brilliant work there, you guys.
What I don't understand is, why is it that they'll gladly, you know, announce DLC for this game, and apparently it's not going to be I'm hoping it's not one of those pre-order DLC either. Like, that's the worst kind of DLC, is the DLC they only give you if you pre-order the game or something like that. It's like, no. I want to be able to get the game when I want, without having to, you know, the extra content should be given to me optionally.
Buy Sonic Colors. You can get each Wisp for 99 cents.
Oh man, that's a bargain.
If you purchase Sonic and the Secret Rings at Target, you get an exclusive Archie comic.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the whole pre-order DLC thing, people latch onto it because, like, hey, look, if you actually put down your money so we can actually have your money and make interest on it first, then you get extra stuff. That's basically the whole idea behind it more than anything else. But what you tend to see is that pre-order DLC does eventually come out as normal DLC anyway. So if that's the stance behind it, it's usually okay. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If anybody from Sega is listening and they heard that Sonic Colors thing and is thinking anything about it, I'm going to be calling Kelly, and you sure will hear about it.
Jeez. Why is there Metal Sonic?
Shadow the Hedgehog play as Sonic for $4.99. Wow. Well, I mean,
maybe there could be DLC for Shadow the Hedgehog that actually removes all the weaponry.
Joy to the world, pipe dreams are dead.
Pay an extra $1.99 and you can play a glitch-free one level.
Oh, I don't believe
That's
you.
asking a bit much of the dev team, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Sonic.
That's a pretty high order there.
Shadow the Hedgehog. That's the game. That's like the one main Sonic game. I haven't beaten that one. Shadow Hedgehog High.
No one's
Alright.
judging you, don't worry.
Do Noni. What's next?
Yeah.
Well, good news is this is last thing we need to hear about is more E3 news, but apparently Sega.
Wait, there's news coming out of E3 still?
Yeah, because of the awards show.
Oh,
like
right,
12
that's right.
years ago.
Oh, cool! It's just like the Special Olympics. Let's get it on.
Brought to you by Tigger-enabled devices.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh, come on. That's exactly what was the kind of caliber you'd expect at E3.
Yeah.
Don't give me
Oh,
that.
what was the other catchphrases they were using?
We encourage you to experience the game on your own at the show floor, and we hope you enjoy this one-to-one experience.
No. The catchphrases, like the big E3 catchphrases. What was it?
Wasn't
Well,
it
like
that?
Reggie's saying that his body was ready.
No. Like, it was the Sony conference, and they were talking about
A book.
something being 1-1-1 or something like that.
Yes, one-to-one.
yeah, 1-to-1.
One-to-one gameplay.
Yeah, 1-to-1
God.
gameplay. 1-to-1
One-to-one
gameplay.
DLC. One-to-one DLC.
Uh,
One-to-one taker.
Well, there has to be a catchphrase for every E3, so.
Yeah, but
the sword
Yeah.
fighting game.
you guys have no idea how funny I think it is when executives get on stage and they try to use these stupid buzzwords.
I remember
Yeah.
that time when Donnie was going to actually tell us what was going on with this E3, but we all were like, no!
Actually, that was a pretty good time, actually.
Yeah, it isn't really much. It's just apparently there were a couple of Sega games that had been nominated for some Best of E3 awards. I know All Stars Racing Transform was one of them, and Hell Yeah was another one. But unfortunately, Sega got fucked over, and none of their games won an award.
Well, I don't think Hell Yeah deserves an award.
Hell yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
Well, all it is a trailer right now. I don't think anybody else knows anything else outside of that.
Hell no. Sorry. I just wanted to use that.
See what you did
Let's face
there.
it, that one was inevitable.
Although, really, I can't really recall anything that they showed that would be actually noteworthy. Like, as big as they want to push All Stars Racing Transform, like considering like a lot of the other stuff that was actually there, that would actually be well more noteworthy, just because of like the type of game that they were. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I know that Assassin's Creed Revelation or whatever the new one, 3, yeah, that one. I know that one would get more notoriety and things like that. Well, what category were they in for All Stars Racing in? Hell maybe.
Hell, maybe.
See, it got a hell maybe instead of a hell yeah for reward.
That's pretty clever.
I see what you did there.
Yep.
I don't.
Alright, let me see what the categories were. I see the story right here.
Shit and not shit.
I should probably mention, like, I don't mean to, like, I haven't really seen much of anything on Hell Yeah, and I don't want to, like, slide the developers because I'm sure that they don't really intend to, nobody ever intends to make a bad game or anything like that, or something that's gonna get.
Okay,
I don't know about that.
okay,
I don't know. I will disagree that Wacky World of Sports seems to have been doomed from the beginning.
Well,
okay, the Cave was also nominated, by the way. Yeah, the categories of Sonic and All Stars Racing Transform was beaten in the best racing game category by the updated Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Oh my god, you're kidding me.
Nope.
but it's a Criterion experience.
Nice
else
sticker.
What else was nominated in that category? What other
Well,
Magic
both-
Racers?
Both Hell Yeah and the Cave were actually in the same category, which was Best Downloadable Game. Yeah, they both lost to Sony's Unfinished Swan, whatever the fuck that game is.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck those guys. I give them a hell no.
Oh.
So, The Cave, is that a 2005 movie?
It's a Ron Gilbert experience.
Isn't it a
Bloodthirsty
sword?
creatures await a pack of divers who become trapped in an underwater cave network. The Cave.
So it's
I like
a story set in a
Brilliant.
cave. A cave story, if you will.
So it's the prequel to The Core, right? Oh no!
Okay, what's that next topic thing?
I'm surprised you guys are shitting on a Ron Gilbert game, or double fine if you don't know who Ron Gilbert is anymore.
Well, this next topic will probably be the biggest topic of if well, biggest as in most exciting,
On a
depending
scale
on
of
who's
hell yeah and
fans.
hell no, how big is it?
Well, considering Crush 40 has now, all 3 of Crush 40's new songs are now on iTunes. Depends on how much of a Crush 40 fan you are, but apparently, apparently, apparently,
We're all Crush 40 fans here.
yeah, apparently, one of those days was added to iTunes just a couple days ago, so like good week before they were supposed to be on iTunes. Gee,
Crush
surprise.
40, you mean that
Whoops.
same band that, did Live and Learn and Open Your Heart, and then all the other songs that they did sounded the same, like, as those songs, so they could cash in on it, on you guys?
Cash.
Crush 40? No, I just.
Cash 40.
Oh!
Cash 40.
Ugh.
Cash 40. Is that a collab between
Yeah.
Cash and Crush 40?
Oh, it's gonna happen
no.
now. Great.
It all
Please
happened.
jinx it.
Cash. Gotcha on the
I'm
line.
okay with this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not.
I
Can
love
I
those
just say
old
it's a
songs.
public announcement that
To be fair, I've at least got a higher opinion of Crash 40 than I have of, say, was it Julian Kay who were at Summer of Sonic? It's either last year or the year
Last year.
before.
Yeah,
and
they were.
didn't play any Sonic songs.
Yeah, Julian
How
K
could
was at
they?
Julian K was at Summer of Sonic last year. Yeah.
That was a big waste of time.
They basically finished this up and said, "Come and see us next year and we'll play some then." It's like, okay, thanks, guys.
Remember the time you were invited to go to a convention just about Sonic the Hedgehog, and the only people that know your existence at this convention is because you did 2 Sonic the Hedgehog songs, and then you decide not to play anything involving Sonic the Hedgehog? I mean, that's my favorite idea of existence.
Well,
I mean,
see,
to be fair, I know that they said we haven't played these songs since we recorded them for these games that weren't that great in the first place, and we only have programmed into our thing, like, and into our equipment, the songs we actually play on tour for the people who know us beyond the fact that we did something involving Sonic. But, like, it's still, they could have had a bit more poking and prodding. They could have done it acoustically. I don't know.
I don't like where this is going.
Oh.
Well, no.
Well,
We're
I just
already
wanna say
there. I don't know
for
what you're
the record,
I'm-
If
Hey,
Dilated Peoples can work with Platinum to be on Anarchy Reigns, Sonic Team, please get some decent hip hop in your next game. I don't want no 100p. I don't want no shitty Crush 40.
100p.
I don't want Cash running around being Cash. I want good hip hop
You know
music.
what? I think how they got the name for that band is they were drinking a soda called Crush, and they were just driving around at 40 miles an hour in their 1999 Honda Civic, and just said, "Oh my God, I think I just got a band name."
40/40
Well,
vision. Wait.
Surprise, we got a British pop star. He's
Oh,
gonna
man.
sing the theme song.
Wait, are we going to go really deep and dark and start talking about him?
Wow.
No,
No,
we're not.
we're-
We're not going
This
there.
is banned. There was a
Sorry.
block here.
It
What's
took
the
me a
next
second, but-
subject of the conversation.
Did you know that you can
I did not
buy-
know anything, David. You need to stop right there because I know where this is going.
Okay, no, I was thinking an iTunes.
David, stop
I get your-
talking. I
You
know
don't
where
know-
it's going.
You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm
It's
doing.
getting horrible already. Donnie, please.
See, I
giving-
know.
David,
I'm giving your control instant a hell no out of hell yeah.
stop.
Oh, God.
Okay.
You can get a lot of albums. You can get Fantasy Star
It's happening again.
Fantasy Star online soundtracks on iTunes. Come on.
Oh, there you go. That's
Yeah, that's not
If
bad.
only you'd given him a chance.
Also,
know.
even
You
this
spent-
shit before it didn't turn out so well.
no, but I didn't realize that there's quite a few different Fantasy Star online soundtracks on iTunes. I thought they were just like Sega was content with Sonic. I didn't realize they were actually putting out soundtracks for any other games on iTunes. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, if they've got the rights to it and they completely don't have any legal issues whatsoever, they should throw up as much as they've got. Lord
Right.
knows they need the cash.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't think Sega would actually think about it because it's Sega.
You know, the Phantasy Star Online conversation was way back there, and you missed it. You
I
really
know.
missed it.
Well, the thing that you didn't want me to mention, it's $8.91 on iTunes, so.
Ah. Brilliant.
All right, so what's the next topic?
Coming soon to Summer Sonic, we're giving it a BJ. That's right, Bentley
Oh, okay,
Jet.
great.
No,
Why did you do? Oh,
no.
we were trying to go around that, and you walked
Yeah,
right.
thanks.
I was sitting on that.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why.
You know why? You know why? Because Bart, his name begins with B, and he has to stick up for other people beginning with B. So there you go.
Oh,
Okay.
There you go, Bartman 3010, a fan of BJ's.
oh.
Oh,
Animal Wild Refuge. I got a couple of BJ's that fell.
Oh,
You know,
my
you
God.
might as well-
God.
So the next topic.
You ever thought you'd hear that coming up, David?
What?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, I've heard enough about BJ. What's next?
Oh, man. Yeah. The last topic on this freaky ass show is apparently Sega Sonic Radio is quote unquote back, and they did a pre-launch Summer Sonic ticket competition event last week, and they gave away 11 Summer Sonic tickets. So apparently those who got wanted Summer Sonic tickets got one last quote unquote chance.
Funny thing is those are the tickets that actually probably took the longest amount of time to sell out.
Well, okay. So here's the thing.
I got the golden ticket.
Okay, how many people were at Summer of Sonic last year?
About 1,000.
Yeah.
And how many people can fit into the venue that they're having it at this year?
About 750, 800, something like that.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
You have to remember also last year, while they did have it ticketed, they also allowed people in that weren't ticketed, and they basically, I don't think they gave like an absolute limit to it.
Do you guys in the UK have like fire codes?
Yeah, to hell with fire codes in the UK.
What's that?
Was that a hell no to fire codes?
You're
What's
assuming
that, governor?
You're assuming they've invented fire in the UK.
What?
No, I believe there was some fire in London once. Like that was
Oh,
not the
right.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
That
Well
was
done,
Before,
David.
before the American nation was founded, as I recall. So
You know, it'd be interesting if SOS was held at Stonehenge.
Oh, there's probably no limit there. Although
Oh god.
it would be
Yeah,
destroyed.
but there'd be
in a-
fat middle-aged mom
they're-
lumber.
They're both very mystical, you know, and how they were created.
Oh right, because Sven Jocelyn, he was. What happened was that Gaia, the spirit of Earth, came to and said, "To my given son, I give to you the Summer of Sonic, 2003." I don't know.
And then Captain Planet came riding down on a dinosaur, and then everything was awesome.
Oh goodness.
Good God. What were we talking about?
Summer of
Rompax.
Sonic.
Sonic, which I did stay on topic for. So
You did, amazingly.
Well,
That's the most on topic we've been so far in this show.
Surely you jest, good sir.
I'm surprised when we mentioned the UK, BJ's didn't come up.
Oh.
Right. So.
Well, thanks.
God.
No, because I am not intimately familiar with the behind the scenes going on the Summer of Sonic, partially because Sven Jocelyn won't accept my friend request on Facebook. This is my
Hint, hint.
Well, you
Hey,
know, if he's listening, you sound a little creepy, David. I don't blame the man.
because it's like come on, you know who I am, you know, because we went to the Moogle Cavern together. Because I know he's listening, and even though he probably isn't, come on,
He probably wants to forget that.
he.
Most people do.
If he decides to show up in the U.S. for a Sonic Boom because for some reason his name is Sven, I'm gonna walk up to him and I'm gonna be
he was
like,
there last year.
Yeah, you forget the point that he might already at that point have a restraining order.
I can sit down and be like, listen, we got to talk about Kulak.
Wait,
Oh,
what
let's
did you say
not.
his name was again?
Let's not.
Kupova. See,
Stop!
Oh yes, they're
This is
saying that.
going into unknown territory.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's,
you know.
You know, maybe that's
this
the
is
reason.
like one of those "do not touch me" here kind of conversations.
You know, maybe this is the reason why Summer of Sonic has a smaller venue. Maybe they're actually paying this year for aircon.
Oh,
Hmm.
it's possible.
Is there no air conditioner?
Or is it? Or maybe they just don't have as much money as they did last year to buy it.
Most likely. But
So-
aircon has become sort of an in-joke and just a joke in general at Summer of Sonic, where there basically is none.
Like
So-
I say, Summer of Sonic has aircon.
Yeah.
So aircon, that's like when you're watching Con Air, but you're dyslexic, right?
Wait, that's like cooling down the building, right?
Yes.
That's like the
To be-
3D
no,
Air
to be
Mac
fair
game
to
that
them,
has
they
nothing
have-
to do with
Yeah,
Sonic,
to
right?
be fair to them, they have tried it. It has gotten better every year that they have tried it. It's,
Oh yes.
but it's the sheer logistics of doing it.
They could, okay, well, I mean, I forget what I was gonna say.
Is this bullet point number 10?
Yeah, that was actually the last topic, so.
Can you
man,
come
we-
up with another one? This is boring.
Yeah, can we just keep going forever?
Okay, let's see.
Like PJs and Tegra-enabled devices.
No, that's going backwards. We're looking towards the future, Bart.
What's your
All right.
opinion on
Well,
Sonic 5?
Well, the future is enabled with Tegra.
No, don't you say it.
The future will be ASR, basically at this point.
Actually, the future has this Valkyria Chronicles 3 fans translation that's coming up, apparently.
The future is what's gonna
that's
happen.
actually
Is
kind of interesting.
what? Say that again.
All right, so Little
This-
Planet 3.
Little Planet. No! This is what's gonna
Oh.
happen. I know the future of Sega. See, what's gonna happen is that a few years from now, there's gonna be an episode of Storage Wars, and somebody's gonna buy storage locker. And what's gonna be inside? Oh, it's going to be the legal rights to Sonic the Hedgehog because Sega threw it in a storage shed and they forgot to pay balance. And so they're gonna get it, but it's only gonna be worth like $300. So they're actually going to lose money on their investment. And that is the future of Sega.
It is a Mega Drive cartridge of Sonic 4, as you imagined it.
Well, I guess we could talk about the new signing, autograph signing rules they made, announced. Apparently now they've made the they're not as lenient now on getting autographs during signings for people like Izuka, and they're a lot more strict now. I'm looking up the. Let me see. I'm
Okay,
looking at the
I wanted
rules
to-
right now.
From
they
what,
draw
from what I
cocks on
remember,
your picture if they don't like you.
well, no, from what I remember, what it is now is previous years it's been take as much as you want, get as much as you want signed, have a photo taken, talk with them for as long as you like, and screw up everyone else in the queue.
Yeah,
And
it's
just
really
queue around the
not
entire
worked.
queue around the entire building so no one can actually do anything. Whereas this time it's a case of right, there's a set area. You can, if you're outside the area, you're not in the queue. Go away for 20 minutes, and we'll call you back when we can allow more people in. You can have one thing signed. That's it. Don't talk with them for too long. Don't bother having your photo taken. That's it.
No,
Which
why didn't
is a lot better, especially after last year's
Yeah,
kind of like this
no,
mini fiasco. There was, I mean, Overlord and I were both in the queue for it, along
we
with
were.
other people from Retro. We were some of the last people to actually get through the queue and get stuff signed because
Yeah.
people were taking forever about it. People were
Bearing in
getting
mind-
5 or 6 things signed.
I mean, the length of the queue as well. If you recall, we started at the far back top right corner of the hall. The line went from there down to the bottom right, across to the bottom left, then back up to the top left.
Yes.
We basically did a circuit of the entire hall.
And how long were we queuing for? How many hours?
At least 2.
Yeah. So hopefully this year the new rules will definitely give something about that. They'll actually improve things,
how
especially if they're keeping things to one thing signed alone.
Yeah, it's I can see why they did make these rules after hearing that there was a lot of chaos, no pun intended, on Summer Sonic. So last year. So I
Yeah, was that a paradox you just made?
yeah.
What kind of conversations are you going to be having with Naka and Azuka? Aren't they kind of like not English challenged?
Yeah, that didn't seem to stop people.
Like okay. So
I love Sonic the Hedgehog. It's the greatest game ever made. I love
Well,
you.
I think it was
childhood
more.
saved.
I think it was more a case of people wanted X not because it was a case of okay, Yuji Naka's going to be there. Let's get everything that I've ever owned to do with Sonic or Sega signed all at once, and then have my photo taken on this phone, on this camera, and then put it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and everything all at once, and then everyone else is in the queue just waiting for one person.
I'm surprised that they didn't come up with these rules the first time around, because what about the idea of a convention? It's not like it's something new. Conventions have been going on for years.
It's one of those things where you think it's a good idea at first, but you don't actually think everything through at once, and then you realize it because when we were at the end of the queue there, and they were running out of time, it's a basic case of guys, okay, you can have one photo taken, you can have one thing signed, that's it. Okay. So they did actually realize the oversight near the end of time. I guess now that they've actually gone through that this time, and now that they also know the popularity of Summer of Sonic, they've decided to get all the rules sorted out right at the very beginning.
I guess it wasn't an issue.
What? I was going to say, in that regard, the smaller venue size might actually help them this year.
Yeah. So why do I picture in my head? Was there anybody there that had like a garbage bag full of Sonic memorabilia that they wanted signed or something?
Well, people did have backpacks full of stuff, that's for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I want you to sign every issue of Fleetway that I have.
Please sign.
There was Nigel Kitchen there, so.
Right. See, I would imagine though that the line for Nigel Kitchen wasn't like, "Okay, we're gonna wait 4 hours before I see you," when there were 3 people ahead of me.
Fun enough, there was actually quite a long queue just because you had that Nigel dubbing Tracy Yardley crossover picture, which was really popular.
It was. I've still got mine somewhere.
And so do I. It's brilliant.
It's behind the dresser.
Fleetway versus Archie, definite Fleetway win.
Hey.
Yes, of course.
What am I talking about? Archie's terrible, so it's not like Fleetway's that much better. Fleetway just pretends to be better because it didn't get it stopped before Sonic got really bad, so it was just able to avoid it. I mean, if Fleetway kept on going, think about it. You would have had to deal with Shadow. You would have had to deal with
Part of me is actually really curious as to how they deal with Shadow, and I'm not talking about how they dealt with it in Sonic the Comic Online. I'm just curious as to how how Nigel Kitchen would have actually written him in.
Eggman would have probably become a part of Shadow.
What?
He would have become part of his own Shadow. Yes.
He would have created his own fan fiction.
Or Shadow
would have got a new
been
coat
ripped from Sonic or Super Sonic.
No. Supersonic thing. Hey, Scarred Son, you're number one.
Yo.
Do you have something important to say?
Oh my god.
No, sorry guys, I've actually been kind of tuning you out for the past few minutes. There's been some dumb crap going on elsewhere that I need to deal with. So.
No.
Oh, that's fine.
It's no fun. Tell them, listen, I can't deal with it right now. I'm on the internet.
We're talking about BJ's
No,
devices.
this is internet stupidity.
Oh, it is internet stupid. Okay, you should have been like, listen, one corner of the internet. I'm dealing with the other corner of the internet. Can you both just leave? Oh.
I guess I could probably announce that I'm actually trying to.
I don't want to hear anything about the Tegra!
Well, you're in luck because I'm actually going to be talking about an Sega All Stars Racing vanilla flavor get together for retro, which is basically I'm trying to plan out a thing where people can submit their friend codes to like a retro account. And we could just spend like a couple hours just playing races with each other and things like that. I'm trying to see if I can get it like video footage live stream just for the fun of it.
Well, good luck on getting your ass beat, because I don't want to be a part of that.
Well, I will gladly get my BJ Joe up and running.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Now, when you say
Hey. That's a message that I actually got when I was playing against somebody, and then when I won the race, they sent me a private message on the PlayStation Network, and it said, "No BJ Joe." In all lowercase letters. It was delicious.
You
that
ate
BJ
yeah.
was delicious.
Awkward.
Yeah, no plans right
Listen
now
to him
for the
salivate. Oh my god.
no plans right now for the actual get together, but more than likely at this point it will be after Sonic Boom and Summer Sonic, so keep an eye out for details later.
Yay.
PS by Tager.
Oh man, if nobody has, if I take, oh man. See, if you get to the point, how long do your shows normally last, Mr. Donnie?
Well, they can last anywhere between 30 minutes if we're having a really, really quick show to an hour or 2 hours. The longest has been 3 hours.
Oh
Oh,
man.
well,
so
go
we're
on.
not the longest then.
Come on,
No,
Bart.
you're
Come on,
not.
Bart, David. Just
Okay,
get out
okay.
there.
Okay,
All
we're gonna
right.
keep on going. What? Okay.
Alright,
Well-
so we need to write a fan fiction.
Okay.
No.
So once upon a time in the 90s, there were a series of books published by Troll Associates, written by Michael Tillier.
Yes! Bro, don't
I have-
country, right?
I have the first one in my hand, and it's my favorite thing ever because what happens when there's a tractor in it? You see, because here's the thing. Years ago, when things were right on Mobius, there lived a hedgehog named Sonic and a boy named Robotnik.
Oh, no. This one, I know what this is.
It's a good story. It's a good story. No bad comments, please.
Please talk more.
Everyone gather around the campfire and listen to
I don't actually have to
Dave.
read this. It's probably going to end badly. So.
This is
But I just love the story because it's absurd and it was officially licensed by Sega and published.
Yep.
And what I want to do, hey Mark, you're still here, right?
I am still here, yes.
See it, we won. Okay, anyway, Mark.
Yes.
Oh wait, why am I?
This
since
is
you're-
ominous.
Since you're from England, what you could
Yes.
do to help save on shipping costs for me is that you could buy copies of all 4 of the UK books, like Sonic and the Fourth Dimension, and ship them to me in one big glop, and then I could pay you for all of them. And I don't know why I'm discussing this live.
Well, you find them, I'll buy them, and then you find them again because I need to get better copies of mine because mine have drawings all over them.
Oh.
And
I
then
have
sure.
full, decent quality copies of all 4 of them. Oh.
Right, because what I realized is that I've been trying to buy them from U.S. retailers to be like, here's one for $10, and it's like if I look on the UK version of Amazon, it's like here's 2,000 for a penny. It's like
They're not that cheap.
Well, I don't necessarily need in condition qualities, but just as long as I can read them.
I can't remember. I think we looked copies of them up just for the hell of it some time ago, and they were like 30 quid each or something stupid.
What? Really?
What?
I looked them up on Amazon Kook, and that's not what I saw.
Oh, okay.
Sure that wasn't Canuck?
Canuck.
I'm so clever. I've been doing nothing but spouting stupid crap this whole past half hour. I'm
This
sorry,
whole
guys.
conversation has been a fucking paradox.
Oh,
Aw,
Wow.
okay.
Full
this
circle.
whole thing.
Thanks.
This whole thing never
Full
happened.
fucking
There-
circle.
Did you know on iTunes there's an album called Casino Sega Jackpot? It has nothing to do with Sega as far as I can tell. But I want it. Who wants to
good.
buy
Here, let me
this stuff?
type this up. I typed Sega music into Google. What do I get?
I don't know.
There is
Oh.
a genre. There's a genre, yeah.
This is Sega, everyone. We're going to the developer studio right now.
It's a
Live.
fiesta!
Oh my God! Everything's on fire.
I pity the poor
churros.
sod who has to edit this podcast.
Yeah.
That would be me.
This sounds like a good idea.
Live demo, folks. E3 or hashtag.
Oh, goodness.
Right, see, there's 13 U's starting from one UK penny.
UK penny.
I can't think. A pence? A pound? Not a
It is a penny over here as well, yes.
What?
Is it?
Singular
Yes,
penny,
we have
multiple
pennies.
pence.
God.
Pence. Yeah, so there you go.
We've got a penny, we've got tuppence.
It's starting from U.
Penny bit.
One
Exactly.
penny. And I'm Sonic in the fourth dimension.
A tetrahedron?
A te-
Oh.
We could talk about because here's the thing: you can get Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure, the soundtracks, for $9.99 each. If you want Phantasy Star Online songs of Ragul Odyssey
Ragul.
soundtrack, yeah, that
Ragul.
one, Ragul, that is $20, $19.99 for that whole album. I wonder why.
Man, I can't believe that they want $20 for both soundtracks. It's like, fuck, man. I'm just gonna go play my game and pause the music. Fuck you.
Yeah, but you do realize that, like...
It's not like Sega needs money right now or anything.
No, not at all.
Oh,
They
I
don't.
guess
Prices for these soundtracks are usually like $30 to $50.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
$20 for like
Oh God.
digital distributed freaking soundtracks to a video game which the music, by the way,
Don't
lasts
buy
for maybe a max of a minute and then it loops. No thanks. I'm
Fine,
sorry,
fuck
but I'm not
it.
gonna
Don't buy
I'm
it.
not gonna sit here and sell these people on such a shoddy product. And Sega, you should do something about that. You really should. You should make longer music tracks. And you know what? That would help you in the long run. Just like back in the old days with Sonic C. Oh.
I was waiting for something to give there.
It's weird because you do get the complete opposite in some situations. I mean, Generations on 3DS, the boss, the Big Arms boss, that can be beaten in like 40 seconds, and the music track's well over 3 minutes.
Yeah, what is up with that?
They
Like this
making-
grand epic
You know-
battle music that only goes on.
You know, there are Japanese developers out there who make games and they all, sell the soundtracks separately, but obviously make more of a living off of those soundtracks than the actual games themselves. Like if you look at any,
Actually develop games nowadays.
I guess, I mean, Falcom, they've been making these games that go along with their soundtracks, but man, I think we're
You know
kind of
what?
tapped out. So it's just going to be random crap from here on out.
I really
Yeah.
think this conversation needs to be wrapped in black.
Yeah, I I see what
Back
you
in-
did there.
okay.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
oh.
Considering I see that people do need to leave soon, and it is getting kind of late, I guess we should go ahead and wrap this up now. So,
Wrapped in black.
yeah. So-
Look, I can stay here all night. This is it.
I gotta go to work tonight.
This is my life.
This is the show.
This is what I do every day. I
Wow.
sit here
I want.
and listen to you.
Oh.
Okay, so there's an album by someone named the Polish Ambassador, and it's called "I Found Him, Now I Must Kill Him." And there is a track on there called "I Want My Sega CD." It's 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Whoa.
I kind of really want this for some reason.
He wants his Ground Zero Texas.
I want my Sega CD.
That should. See, what you should do is you should buy this, or you should acquire this track and use it as your new theme song to whatever you're doing. Because it does have a beat to it. And it just, I mean, it's got the word Sega in the title. And it's obscure enough so that if, because who's going to listen to the very end of this? No one. So you don't have to worry about me pointing out the obscurity to it. It's perfect.
Well, since we're pretty much ending the show now, I guess it's that time where we don't say goodbye yet, because there's still one more thing to do, and that's for anyone to
plug what they want.
Already
before we head
plugged
out?
my thing.
I'll be right back. My sink needs to drain.
You could go do.
SonicRetro.com, 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 right?
.com.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Something.
Great job.
Instasonic is now fired from Sonic Retro.
Oh god.
In the meantime, please download Anime Rally and check out the Taker enabled. Your Anime Rally.
CJP.
CJP.
New version of Sonic 1 Omocha Edition coming soon. Yes, I am actually deadly serious. It's going to actually fix bugs and have voices. Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god, I'm so screwed.
Yep.
Oh goodness.
I'm what do I do? Oh man, I write things sometimes on front page. You could read them on retro.org Sonic.
Oh, me too.
Well, I mean, it's
Yes,
not like,
me to some extent.
hey, if I ever write a book and publish it, you all should buy it because I've already mentioned it.
Hey, did you guys know that Sonic is being developed by Sega, and we have a website devoted to Sega stuff? So if you go to SegaRetro.org,
Yeah, that's a pretty cool place to go.
oh
It
man,
is.
See, here's the thing:
just scan
SegaRetro.org
on.
needs your help because not everyone here can't do everything themselves. You, the viewer at home, can help.
I'm
Yes,
old and I have a
those
job
of you who
now.
are watching this listening thing.
If you're still 17 and have nothing better to do with your life, you should scan everything.
It helps.
Scan all the things.
It helps with the
Scan
app-
all the things.
Scan all of the things.
Every little helps.
everything.
I guess is it a good thing that I'm 20 then?
Oh, you can scan some of the things.
know
You
what,
still have
even if
enough
you're
time.
20
You're never too old.
Yeah, part of the things.
Right, because if you're 20, that means you're like in that part of time where you're like, I'm done with high school, but I'm not yet fully integrated into the real world. Hopefully.
Wow.
It helps. It helps
Wow,
beat
that was
that.
not good at all.
Yeah.
It helps with that little thing we call abstinence.
Huh?
Now,
Yeah,
no,
Sega
well, I don't
Retro to
know.
abstinence. How
Well,
did we get
because if
there?
you're 20, you may or may not be in college, and if you're in college, it's like you're pushing back real life.
I
Which
thought this was over.
This is getting a little too deep.
now okay, because you see the difference between life and death. It's just one little TV box with a one-up icon.
Sweet rave party time, yeah.
No.
wasn't
See,
Sonic
I
related.
should have said it's smoother because the difference between life and death is 100 rings. Yes, that's smoother. Because otherwise, I'm just going all over the place.
Speaking of raves, if you ever fancy a bit of a rave, go on the forums and type in the All Emeralds cheat to Sonic 2 and Knuckles, and then press A and then type in A and then enter afterwards, and you might get a bit of a surprise.
Yes, you might.
Now, how many people here remember that code? Because I don't remember a Sonic 2 Knuckles code for the life of me.
And this
Well,
is very
good for-
true.
Well, good for you
Fortunate for
because
you,
our
it's
wiki
on
That's
the
great because we
page.
have a perfect resource for that, sonicretro.org.
Exactly.
It's perfect. We had 3 people mention this one thing.
Oh,
Gosh.
Well, I guess we may as well close it out. Although I do feel that I wish we could go on for even longer. Alas, alas, the time has come.
I think you're glad it's over. I think you're like, it should have ended an hour ago.
And he'd be right.
Like, I can't believe I let these people on.
Don't worry,
Here.
you can possibly
Let me
subject
play
yourself
you
to our
off.
antics on sonicretro.org on the forums. Please join.
Yeah, that's really the thing I need to do is join the retro forums. Really, I've been a little bit lenient because I haven't really been able to think of like the screen names. Like it's a screen name I got to think of because I can't really go by with the SSF one if it's not really original.
Yeah.
Do we already have an
do kinda
SSF on the
people
forum?
where we try- I think we do. First off,
Yeah.
second off, yeah, we have kind of a weird rule that we require people to have kind of original names, mostly just so we can keep you separate in our heads. Because if there's like 20 jillion like supersonics, they all kind of blend together.
Yeah.
What
So I am the 3010th Bartman on the website. No other Bartman can be there. We're only
I remember when you and Bartman like 204010 got like a huge fight and had it was like bloody. I didn't realize you guys had to kill each other.
We-
like,
we
there
did.
could only be-
There can
Man,
be only one.
that must have been an awesome fight because I can't even remember it.
You know what we should do?
That's a little like Berserker Rage right there. Jeez.
I remember somebody made like Photoshop signatures for everybody, and he got banned because he made fun of me.
Actually, I think you both killed each other, and we had to recreate you, and you're a clone.
Oh man.
This would make
Oh, wait,
too much sense.
Is this all Shadow the Hedgehog? Shoot.
Oh fuck.
Didn't realize
I
that was
thought-
a lie.
I thought it was the Simpsons arcade game as you truly imagined it.
Oh.
As I truly imagined it.
Oh, I can't believe I made that. I hate, because the truly imagined jokes are so dead, and I hate most of them. And by most of them, I mean every single one from this point forward. But
That's very specific.
okay, this is what you do, Donnie.
In the podcast.
You end it now.
End it
before the-
now.
End
Cut it
it.
off.
Put it out of its misery.
You should hold a contest where people choose your username for something. Right?
David, stop
There
it.
we go.
Oh god. I can only imagine the entries and kids. What the hell?
This is the perfect exit music.
And on that bombshell,
Well, thanks to everyone that joined. Thanks to all of you that joined. I do appreciate you taking your time off from well, hopefully impact my speech, but to take your time off to be part of the show, and I appreciate it. It was a fun show. I mean, it may not seem like it was,
It
but
was
a
an
fun
experience.
show. Yeah.
I hated it! Fuck it! Everything was off topic! I'm not doing this again! When he fucking asked her, do not bring me back on this shit!
Oh.
Well, somebody's attitude is check or enable. And that's the end of the show. Donk.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Thanks for everyone.
Keep it classy. What can I say?
Thanks for
Whoa.
was there
You're fine. Just end it quick. Hit the button. Hit the button.
was there auto tune at that?
No.
It's a Skype quirk.
Skype, yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, that fucking thing! What are you waiting for?
Insta calm. Calm.
Ending now!
to a
Breaths.
happy place.
Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week. I don't know who will be.
This is not professional!
You're damn right.
Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week. What the fuck? It's, take care, everyone.
Do it already! God damn it!
Take care.
Stop pressing it!
Bye.
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 Bye, everybody. Please don't take your devices.